I'm Robert Dodd, and I'm the hostess with the fucking mostest. Joining me today at TipTea, giving you all of the drama and theatrics, is none other than Layla Ziadich.
Hello, my babies.
Hello,
How are
darling.
we doing tonight?
I'm all right. Getting a little tipsy, working on it. How about you?
Honey, I'm a little rusty. It's been a minute.
You better put some oil underneath you like in the Wizard of Oz.
Oil those hinges?
Yeah, those joints.
Those rusty ass joints, bitch.
I got arthritis.
Oh, God.
Oh, whew. So before we get right to it, first things first. Whether you are a first-time listener or a seasoned tea drinker, Layla and I would be remiss if we didn't take this opportunity to say thank you so much to our listeners for the love and support that we've gotten over the past few months as we've been, working and doing the damn thing. And thank you.
Yeah, as Robert said, thank you so much. We just had to take a little break to regroup and recharge and to get some really great creative ideas going for the show. And the first handful of episodes have been really amazing, and we're really excited for all the things that we have planned.
Yeah, I mean, literally, we're at the top right now, so we just got to keep at it, keep at the top of our game. I mean, what new surprises do we have in store for you? I mean, we don't have like a trap door underneath us, so I don't know. We've got some good shit planned though. Right?
Hot shit.
Also, if you haven't already, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. I don't care what you're doing unless you're driving. If you haven't already subscribed to us, please do so on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you stream.
And don't forget to rate us. Hit us up with some 5 stars. We love to see it. It helps our show. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. We're TipTea Podcast.
All right. Now that business is taken care of, we can get to the pleasure. Layla, are you ready for our new segment?
Hanny, I was born ready.
Hanny. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our new segment, Spill the Tea. Do you want to explain what Spill the Tea is, Layla?
I would love to. So during Spill the Tea, Robert and I are going to give you our thoughts on a range of topics, from controversial to hot button, or basically whatever the fuck we want. It's not much different than our regular show, but now we have a segment for it.
All right. Well, do you want me to go first, or do you?
I mean, absolutely. What were you thinking?
Okay, so I've got 2 things. The first thing I want to discuss is dry January and how fucking stupid it is. So yeah, I'll just go right to it. I know dry January is nothing new. But to be quite honest, I think it's the dumbest shit in the world. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that if somebody is seriously trying to stop drinking and become sober, I think that's awesome. And, get it. Alcoholism is a serious thing, and I don't want to make light of that. So before people jump on my fucking case saying that, I am in support of being sober. Sober life is important to some people. However, I just think this whole idea about not drinking for a month is pretty fucking stupid. And so for people that don't know, dry January is when you abstain from alcohol for the first month of the year. I think a lot of people do it just to see if they can do it. Some people do it as like a test drive before they go like from like totally like cold turkey, like permanently giving up alcohol. I think the big issue for me is that I just am so sick of hearing people fucking complaining about it. And it's the people that like are doing it just for the fuck of it and then complaining about, not being able to drink. I'm like, I don't really want to fucking hear it. Like, you're not going to get any fucking sympathy from me. If anything, I'm going to be the one encouraging you to drink, because I think it's fucking stupid. Yeah. I mean, thoughts?
Oh, I mean, well, dry January, so much for that on my end. If you've made it this far into 2021 without a drink, I can only gather a few things about you. You either don't own a TV, are heavily medicated beyond any thoughts and feelings, or just plain vanilla boring. Yeah, of course, like I'm not going to shade anyone who chooses not to drink alcohol. That is absolutely your choice. I am giving a little shade, but it's all in good fun. So where do you think like this comes from? Do you think it's social pressures? Do you think it's like self-wellness and experimentation? Do you think people want attention, it sounds like? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, I don't know. I used to be against like the whole New Year's resolution thing. But then I kind of put it into perspective that, just because I don't really come up with New Year's resolutions doesn't mean that they're not important for people. And I get it. So I used to just be like, I think New Year's resolutions are stupid all around. However, I am now in the camp of, do whatever makes you happy and fulfilled. I just think that a lot of people end up doing like trading one thing for another. And it's like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, does dry mean covering all self-help remedies like
no,
CBD,
I think
weed pens? Like,
I think it's dry is just liquor. I mean, I'm sure people, I guess it's up for interpretation. I mean, I think people could probably, substitute alcohol for, like sex or drugs or whatever.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about sex.
Dry, girl. This vagina's dry.
I just think like, why the hell would you deprive yourself of that sweet nectar if you do like to drink? That means in that sense.
Well, I get it. If I think if you're doing it from a place of like, you really want to be sober, go for it. Like, I get it. Chrissy Teigen just recently did it. And I mean, I applaud it. I applaud her. I get it. But what I don't like to see is people setting themselves up for failure. And I hate this idea. Like, a lot of people like, okay, I'm not going to use dry. I'm just going to use like, I will. So like, say like, I'm going to give up alcohol, and instead of drinking all the time, I'm going to be working out all the time, like even more so than I did the previous year. Mm-hmm. So like, are you really like, you're basically just trading one addiction for the next. I mean,
or vice.
Like, yeah, I mean, and it doesn't have to be working out. I just use that as an example, but like eating junk food or drinking soda. Like if you trade one vice for another, that's kind of defeating the whole purpose. But mainly I think my biggest gripe is I just don't want to hear people fucking complain about like not drinking and like they fully intend to start drinking in February. I'm like, a week away isn't going to fucking do anything. Like, you're not, just fucking drink if you're going to drink. You know what I mean?
Well, have I told you that my friends and I did a dry February once? Do you know why we chose February?
Because it's the shortest month of the year.
Exactly. So baby steps for sure.
Did you do it?
Yes, I actually was one of the few that completed the 28 days of sobriety.
Was it hard?
No, I mean, it wasn't hard. I saved a lot of money, and I was going to say, like, now especially it's easier for me to like skip drinking altogether without much thought because of the COVID isolation or just
Are you kidding me? I feel like I have to drink more because of COVID.
Well, I mean, some people for sure, but like me personally, I drink out of social necessity. Since I can't really go anywhere or do much of anything and I live alone, I don't really, reach for drinks by myself. It's just not something that I've ever done. But like right now, like when we're having these great conversations, like I do enjoy having a glass of wine and it's really nice. If I go out to dinner with people, whenever that can be, like, put away some bottles of wine for sure, some cocktails, as you know and have seen.
Yeah, I would say
right now I'm saving money, I guess you could say.
I would say prior to COVID, I was like you, like a social drinker. I think I have drank more. Not like a crazy amount, but like I definitely, if I went to the bar right now, my fucking tolerance, like I'm not a cheap date at this point. Honey has built a reserve. So, yeah, I mean, but I get it. Like it's just, it's definitely not a problem yet. And even then, I mean, like, okay, so like the other day I got drunk and took a bath and did like karaoke with myself and like fucking such a great time.
Oh, sis, we all saw that on Instagram.
It was so fun. Like I will be doing that again.
You were living your best life and I love that for you.
I love it too. We love to see it. So yeah, I mean, I just think dry January is stupid, but I get it. It's not for me.
Yeah, bottom line, it's like, if you've been doing it, like, good for you. In my opinion, good for you. You're a few weeks shy of your gold star, whatever you need to feel good. But the month isn't over. And if you didn't do it, don't worry, because with the combination of the stress from the pandy, the lack of jobs, the casual attack of our democracy, and just being a part of this like vast socially divided racist country, it's okay to drink up. And if that, will make you feel better, that's great. If it doesn't, then maybe don't. Just check in with yourself, and there are better days ahead, and hopefully, and at least maybe we can talk about popping some bottles on Inauguration Day? Question mark?
It's either going to be popping bottles or getting pitchforks and your guns out. So.
Damn. I hope you're not inciting violence here, Rudy Giuliani.
No, I'm definitely not. But bitch, I got a gun. Like look, I'm ready. I will be ready.
What do I always say? You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Exactly. And I'm ready for these crazy motherfuckers. So
should we dive right into that?
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously we would be remiss again to not talk about the fucking terrorism on Capitol Hill. So I will let you go first, because I want to hear what you have to say. I want your opinion, because I think that while we do have a shared opinion about things, I think my view's a little different. So I want to hear.
Well, I actually have a lot of thoughts, and I actually jotted them down before this. But feel free to interject at any point, and we can dive right in.
Okay.
But so January 6th, if we all aren't aware, all this shit went down, and unfortunately, obviously, our democracy, was challenged, and 5 people died, and domestic terrorism took place, and I think it's really challenging to not feel a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Violated, not feel sort of violated, that, like when the BLM protesters, were about to face such strict and stiff oppositions for, peaceful protests. And yet, that was just on certain grounds. Or when the women who gathered at the Capitol to protest Brett Kavanaugh, his, what do you call it? Like his
Supreme Court.
Yeah. Do you call it being sworn in?
Sworn in. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Being sworn into the Supreme Court, those women were arrested. And some officers, going back to the Capitol attack, some officers were letting them in. And, I always try to find, some laughter in the mass chaos, because if you can't laugh at the world, you're only going to be depressed. And I mean, I think we can both agree that some dope fire memes came out of that day. One of mine being, there's a meme where it says, "Where are the police when the attack on the Capitol happened?" And someone said, "Well, for the same reason you don't see Miley Cyrus when Hannah Montana's on stage."
I did see that. Did you see the TikTok where it was the white girl and she's opening the door and it's like, "No, don't come in," but clearly her body language is saying come in, but did you see that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but sounds really great and accurate.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh shit, it is. She's like, "No," she's opening the door and she's like, "No, don't come in, please don't." And then she's motioning with her eyes, so just go ahead and come in. "No, stop." It was so fucking funny. It was really good.
Colbert had a really funny joke the other night when I was watching it, and he said, for how aggressive those people were in storming the Capitol and breaking in, they really, for some reason, paid more respect to the red velvet ropes as they were coming into the lobby than anything else. Bitches were breaking windows and shit, but no one crossed over the red velvet ropes, and they all filed into an orderly line, which was just kind of a weird paradox in all of this.
It's just conditioning,
yeah, probably just in the back of our minds, single file, please, thank you, single file to the chamber, everyone. Oh, that sounded bad. I don't like that. To the chamber. Whoa. Okay, well, obviously I didn't mean it that way, but ooh, okay.
Oh, that was funny. That was good. Don't edit that out.
There was another meme which really killed me. I mean, and this kind of touches on my next point, which I don't know if you heard, but Donald Trump was openly more affected by the appearance of his supporters and those who attacked the Capitol than by actually the way that he looked for how he was inciting violence during his speech. And by the looks of them, I obviously mean, the general Viking appearance, war paint, missing teeth, just very confusing. I don't even want to say it's an aesthetic, because I don't know if that's really, I feel like an aesthetic is a choice. This is just I don't know. They're rocking with what the world has given them. But there was a meme where an old lady, it was a famous photo that somebody took, and there's an old lady holding an American flag, and she's clearly in the lobby. And the meme says "Is this the Cracker Barrel gift shop?" She had no idea what she was doing in there. And
what, I want to say
yeah, I think it was mob mentality. A bunch of angry people sure were in the front, but then, mob mentality took over. I feel like a lot of people that were there had no idea what they were doing, but others, showed up with pipe bombs and zip ties and they were going to take the Capitol. So, I think a lot of shit's fucked up about it. There was a guy in a Camp Auschwitz sweatshirt, which I thought was really disgusting. It's not like these are stand-up citizens from Leave It to Beaver, these people are, I mean, it's so hard for me to find words, but just that in a nutshell, if you have the audacity to wear something like that to the Capitol, or in general own or support anything like that, clearly you have hate in your heart, and you're what you stand for, to me, is not good for this world. But let's talk about the lack of like National Guard response, how long it took them to show up, what the accountability is looking like, post all of this, people stepping down, even followers of Donald Trump's who once used to spread this extremely dangerous conspiracy-esque rhetoric, or like Lindsey Graham, or like saying, I'm out. But it's like, are you
He's
going
such a
to...
pussy. I fucking hate him.
I just like...
It's 2 minutes too late. It's not authentic. Right. I don't buy it.
What is the point of you saying that now, right? Oh, this is too far.
It's just covering your ass.
Exactly. And is it though? Because now your constituents who might have been following you,
they still will vote for him.
I mean, you're Lindsey probably right. Not if they have felonies from storming the Capitol, because you can't vote if you have a felony.
Will these people become unscathed? Like, honestly, if we're going to be real, like, I would rather them just stick to their guns than, now at the end of all this start dropping like flies. Like, at least when you stuck to your guns, at least like, I don't know, now that you're dropping like flies by the last minute, any amount of respect, no matter how fucking tiny it is like completely gone. Like
Right. Like your tail is tucked between your legs now that, guns are pointed at you, or your life is potentially in danger. And then you start to critically think and analyze, like, what is it all for? Who am I protecting? Do I even believe in this? Yeah. And that is where I think it becomes very dangerous, because not only are these, leaders, those senators, not only do they hold like a position of power, but also of influence. And it's extremely dangerous for people like them and people like the media to continue to spread misinformation, or to continue to show people like Donald Trump like on TV. Obviously, that's since quite slowed down and or not even been shown. But for the longest time, it's like, why were we showing him? Why were we even giving him the time of day if we knew like he was straight up going to lie, or straight up going to do an interview and just be basically blasphemous, or be like unhinged, because he's an egomaniac and he's going to say and do whatever and, throw caution to the wind, and it's not necessarily going to be facts. Like, so, but another thing I was going to say was, what do you think the conversation was like when they were in that whatever super secret bomb shelter, wherever they were kept? Like, what do you think was the conversation going on down there amongst everyone? Because I would have paid to be a fly on the wall. Like, do you think was it in silence and everyone was like quietly reflecting? Or do you think that people were sitting there having a very intense argument? Or, I mean, what do you think, Robert?
I don't know. I could see both. I could see, everybody just so embarrassed and like not wanting to speak and it being completely silent. But I could also see it being like a fucking brawl. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? I don't know.
I mean, I thought, like, is this shared trauma going to grow together, bring everyone together in a new light? I mean, as of right now, when I'm talking about where the accountability is, like, I don't think, we're not all clearly on the same page. So
did you see the thing with Nancy? It was like a day or two after, and like they were, or no,
interview?
No, not Nancy's interview. Like they went back to the house to like talk about something, and then a Democrat was talking about, from Pennsylvania, was talking about, just how fucking crazy this is and how Republicans at the end of it are held accountable because like they have been spewing misinformation and like questioning the integrity of this election and with blatant lies. And then like he basically called Republicans liars. And then this one representative Republican was pissed off and said some words, and then they were like gonna get in a fucking brawl. Like, the security in the house had to like get them all situated. Nancy Pelosi.
It was like immediately after.
Yeah. And
immediately after.
Yeah, and Nancy's like, there will be order in the court. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the fuck is what's going on? Like,
I mean, clearly tensions were high, but like, I mean, after something like that, how could they not be? Do you blame them?
Here's the thing. I think that we have two different sides. We have people that are surprised, and then we have people that aren't surprised. And to be quite honest, this terrorism, and I am going to say that it is terrorism. It was domestic terrorism. And the only reason why some people are not using the word terrorism is because the perpetrators were not people of color. But can you riddle me this? Like, imagine if it were Black people or Middle Eastern people, Lord fucking forbid, it would have been World War fucking III on Capitol Hill. So,
prime example, what was that young kid who, I don't usually pay attention to young white supremacists who go on shooting sprees during peaceful protests, but that young kid who's out on bail right now in Wisconsin, and he shot like a few protesters, and photos came out of him like at a bar just enjoying his life. He's under 21. He was drinking beer. And he had the audacity to wear a shirt that says free as fuck on it, by the way. And you're telling me that we would allow this same circumstance to take place if the person had been somebody from a different country as a terrorist. I don't know, like the Boston bombers, for example. Do you think that if they had been white, they would have been treated differently? I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do.
They would have gotten to see their day in court.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in court too, but.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like.
I don't think he would have seen the outside of his jail cell. Well, if he was white, I think he would have seen the outside world a lot more. Because, it wouldn't be considered domestic terrorism, or it would be less likely to be considered.
Or we would have just gotten his background story about how he was, neglected as a child and yada, 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 and how he was an upstanding student. How could this have happened? I have no idea. But the truth is like the writing's on the fucking wall. And I think this terrorism on Capitol Hill just goes to show how much of a bubble people live in. A vast majority of the U.S. people live in. And I will say it's mostly white people in this bubble. And I say this because when I was looking at social media following all this shit, I would say a vast majority of white people that I saw on social media were shocked. And then, I'm looking through all this and I'm like, I don't really see a lot of Black people or people of color talking about this stuff. And if they are talking about it, they're just comparing, the Black Lives Matter movement to this and how
as they should.
And the reason is because this is nothing new, folks. Black America and people that have been doing their homework have seen the writing on the wall for the past 4 years, in addition to, the founding of our fucking country. This is nothing new. And I saw this clip of, do you know Amber Ruffin?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, you have to check her out. She's like this new late night show host, and she is fucking amazing. She's this Black woman. She was talking about this and she said it perfectly. So I'm just going to quote what she said. She said, a common refrain that I heard this week was, "This is not who we are." But unfortunately, that is not true. This is who we are. America is not better than this. We have seen it over and over again the last 4 years, and we've seen it throughout American history. America is built on a foundation of oppression and prejudice and unfair distribution of power. The founding fathers set it up that way. Girl, I mean,
where's the lie?
Where's the lie?
Show me the lie.
There are none. And, you know, our nation was founded by old white men drafting a Declaration of Independence, declaring that all people are created equal. Meanwhile, Kunta Kinte is in the kitchen or in the fields picking fucking cotton. So it's like, for me, this is nothing new. Like, I wasn't fazed by it. I just feel like exhausted. And I really hate when people said this isn't who we are. It's just like one of those stupid fucking blanket statements that I feel it just goes around like it goes with the same token as, I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. Like,
oh, fuck your thoughts and prayers, your T's and P's, fuck them.
But the people that are saying that this is not who we are really need to stop saying that, first of all, and really ask themselves like the uncomfortable questions, like, what can I do to change it? And like, in what ways do I myself either directly or indirectly contribute to the racism and caste system in America? And I think that until people start to do that, nothing's going to change. So I don't know. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. And just like America's really just showing its ass. So like it just doesn't faze me. So
yeah, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think this instance and the end of Donald Trump's presidency, or the coming to the end of Donald Trump's presidency, do you think this is the end of a very long, dark chapter of U.S. history, or is it the beginning of something?
It's the beginning.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously no one has the right answers here, but do you think that good and bad are going to obviously show themselves?
I think that
I want to believe in like that the world is going to be better, but
yeah, these 4 years have been tough, and thank God he did not get elected, but still, this is the reason why I say no, like things are going to get better, or I'm sorry, things are going to get worse before they get better. The reason why I say this is because you still had like a majority of people still voting for fucking Trump. I mean, it's not like Biden won by a landslide.
No, it was close margins all around.
Very fucking close. And so, yes, I do not think that it will get better. It won't. Yeah, it won't. It'll get worse before it gets better. And I think that Donald Trump did a great job of uniting people, patriots, which I fucking hate that word. It's anybody. Amber Ruffin was talking about it on her show, but anytime a person says the word patriot, Black people automatically assume a racist person. I mean, I get scared. Like, to me, the word patriot does not mean somebody that loves their country at this point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been tarnished. The word patriot is now being used by people who in fact hate this country and or
hate for what this country stands for and want to return it to what they think was the former glory, when in actuality it wasn't.
Yes.
It was even more bigoted, even more divisive and disgusting and racist country than it is today. I mean, we've got a shit ton of work to do. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
So not only was this attack on democracy, it was obviously a super spreader event, but hey, to all the domestic terrorists out there, it would have been a lot harder to identify you with a mask on, or at least like, one of those white pointed hoods over your head. But instead, you guys all decided to show up without masks on. Obviously not all, but a lot of you. And so, yeah, they're coming after you. And don't cry to your mommy about how, that shaman is crying to his mom about how in prison they're not serving him organic food, so he hasn't eaten since last Friday. Yeah. Go cry to your mom about that. I'm over it. I'm over this shit. What did you think this was? Sleepaway camp? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So, I mean, I'm happy to revisit this at another time just to check in. I would love to hold, all these people in our government accountable to make sure that they are properly executing, all the punishments allowable by federal law against these terrorists. And if they don't, we should absolutely be doing everything we can as citizens to either vote these people out or to, hold them to a higher platform where they can be judged openly, like, showing them on social media where, whether you like it or not, it dominates our society in such a way that I love bringing this up, but was it not like a few months back when Donald Trump wanted to host a rally and all of TikTok purchased, or
all
the
tickets,
reserved all the tickets for his event? Like, tell me that's not social media warfare. I love it. I love to see it. But we need to be holding all of these people accountable in terms of if they choose to prosecute other people, if other people get away with slaps on the wrist, and then when their time comes, when they're either going to be running again, maybe we take a second to actually think about not what party they were involved in, because I think that is a whole other issue that I would love to discuss in the future. I personally have an aversion to a party system completely, but by their merit and by what they stand for and how they approach this and other things in the past. And I think we hold people accountable, on how they've voted in the past, if it's been in our interest or if it's been by the interests of the money in their pockets. So that's all I have to say about that.
I agree. Oh, fuck. Well, to kind of switch gears on you guys, tonight we will be, so this episode is going to be talking about theater. TipTea does theater, so we have some exciting stuff for you. We haven't decided yet whether or not we're going to do this in 2 parts or one big episode, so we'll see. But we will be interviewing 2 people. So our first interview will be with Delius Doherty, and in just a second, we're going to be talking to him. So refill your cocktails and make yourself comfortable. And when we come back, we will be talking to Delius. TipTea is presented by...
Wait, Robert, we don't have any sponsors.
Shit. Well, let's go to plan B. Are you a local business or restaurant located in St. Louis or Chicago that is looking for some promotion?
Does the sound of our voices sound like cash flowing into your bank account?
If you said yes to any of these, then please email us at tipteapod.robert@gmail.com for further info.
Please sponsor us so we don't have to sell our souls to Jenny Craig.
Welcome back to TipTea Podcast. Joining Layla and I today to discuss all things theater is actor and director Delius Doherty. Hello.
Hi, perfect pronunciation. Yes.
Yes.
Now, are you related to the Shannon Doherty?
Only by proxy of being a witch.
Great answer. Great answer.
I love.
No relations. No relations.
I love Charm. That shit is so good.
It is one of the greatest television shows of our generation. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
agree. So let's just dive right into it. So can you, Delius, tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us and our listeners kind of some background info about your early life to where you are today.
Yeah. I am from Houston, Texas. My goal is to watch my ums. So I'm from Houston,
I say
Texas.
a lot too, so you're fine. You're fine.
I know. This is good practice though. So I'm from Houston, Texas. My father is Nigerian. My mother is from Houston. There we go. We have my grandparents and her people are from Louisiana. So it's this nice mix of like Nigerian ancestry and some Creole heritage. And, just being in the South, I'm was raised very, very conservatively, unfortunately. But I got the chance to go to the arts high school here, the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts. Shout out to Beyonce Knowles, who went there.
And the Beyonce.
Just a small little, alumni. So,
do they just have a photo of her on like the welcome sign?
The funny thing is she only did like ninth grade, but the picture of her in the ninth grade yearbook, the picture of her in the ninth grade yearbook is everywhere.
I was going to say they milk it for what they can. I mean, I would. That's how you get funding.
She drank out of this water fountain right here.
They name it. They give her like a plaque and it says in honor of.
Right, absolutely. The Beyonce Performing Arts High School. So in high school, I majored in theater, I guess, in musical theater. And then I went to Penn State for musical theater. Then I moved to New York in 2011. And then I joined the Book of Mormon on Broadway, the original company, in 2012.
Oh.
Which was really, really, really awesome and terrifying because I was a swing, which I didn't really know much about the job, but it's basically a cover or understudy of all the ensemble tracks. So I knew about eight parts, men and women. I understudied a principal, and I had to go on last minute. So they could, you could call us 15 minutes before and be like, okay, you're going on for this person. And then that could be for the matinee, and then someone could call out for the night show, and then we would have to go on as a totally different track with different choreography, different harmonies, different lines. So that was very, very difficult, but it made.
I have a question.
Else. Yes, let's go.
I might interrupt you. But my question is, so what are like some reasons that like people would like call in? Like, is it like things that like I'm sick, or like I just didn't feel like doing this today, I'm not going to be doing that? Like, how does that work? Like, what are the stipulations of like somebody being like, they're not going to be at the show tonight and you have to step up and do that?
Yes, all. New York City, it could be as simple as train traffic, and
okay, I didn't even think of that, but yeah, you're right.
And under union rules, if you're not at the show 15 minutes before, you can't go on. They have to put the understudies on. So it could be as simple as the train got stuck underground, or it could be my plumbing messed up and I have to stay in my apartment, or it could be I got sick, or it could be I don't have a voice, or it could be sometimes we would know in advance if it was like a vacation. Mm-hmm. It can be vacations, it can be death in the families, pregnancies, any and all. Okay. Or there was one time where a guy literally at the end of Act 1, he hit his head on the set and almost literally like he said the final line of Act 1, and the curtain came down, and then he just passed out, like knocked
Oh,
himself
man.
unconscious. So it was like, Delius, you're on for act 2. So
They're like,
Shit.
you're like, you think they'd notice or no, or
well, he covered it well. He like hit his head, and then he said the line, and then the curtain went down, and then he passed out. You know.
oh, good, it didn't happen like on stage.
Yeah. Oh, it was on stage.
But nobody knew.
You know, he got through it. The show must go on. But
Wow.
the second, it's adrenaline too. It's so much, especially with live theater. We don't get to edit and redo it. So it's like, just push through until people have broken their, twisted their ankle and broken things, and just kind of get through the number and then get off stage and be like, because you don't really feel it until after because of the adrenaline.
Wow.
So that's why we have what we call swings. So I did that for about, I did it for a while. It was really nice. Swings are so valuable. So I kind of always had job security, because also it was such the Book of Mormon before Hamilton came was like the hot ticket in New York. So there were tours and, Australian companies. So I swang for about 5 years because I was with the original company. A lot of them started to leave, and Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds, they all started to do their TV shows and movies and stuff. So it was really cool to see their progression as artists. And it inspired me to want and do more. So I then got a different agent and started to do television and film. And I did an episode of Law and Order, which is really, really fun. The one with Whoopi Goldberg, which is really, really cool. And I did the pilot of HBO's Vinyl, which was like 70s rock and roll, Martin Scorsese.
Show.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And I played Otis Redding in like a musical sequence, which was really, really cool. But then I got the bug to do film and television because it's so much more money and not as straining on the body, because, you do it once or a couple of times and then you get the take, and then, you can move on with your life. And so I decided to go back to grad school for acting and directing. So I went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and did that for 3 years. And it was nice because I was a swing, I knew so many tracks. On summer breaks, one summer I went back to New York and did the Book of Mormon back on Broadway. And then the next summer I went to Australia and did the show there. So that was really, really, really cool. And then I graduated grad school in 2019, like 2 years ago. And I moved to LA. And then I worked with this Shakespeare company out west. And that was cool because I'd never done Shakespeare, but I always wanted to because it's so epic. And I feel like every good actor, should. So that was cool. And I just got in with the Shakespeare and the grad training. I kind of got into fight choreography, which is a cool kind of amalgamation of acting and dance. So I began to do that kind of work. And then I, right before COVID, I was, this is all over the place. But before I left New York, I was workshopping the show at the Public that produced Hamilton, and we had to halt the production because there was a big fallout about contracts and whether or not, if you do workshops, should you get a part of the residuals of the theater. And that was kind of what Hamilton fought for. And so later that happened. But at the time, the contracts were not clear. So the workshop that we were doing just stopped. So that was 2016. So then I get an email right after I finished this, the Shakespeare company, and they're like, "Oh, we're actually going to do the show again. Would you want to come back to New York?" So literally moving all of my stuff to LA. They're like, "Oh, come back to New York." So I'm like, of course, I've always wanted to do an original, to be in the original, because I was a swing, so I didn't have a track.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to. I've always wanted to have my own role that I created in theater. And so I was like, oh, I'll go back to New York for that. And it's the Public, and the Public is incredible. It's an incredible nonprofit theater that's downtown in New York that produces so many shows that are for marginalized voices. So I was like, yeah, it's worth it. So go back to New York, and I'm in the show, and I'm also fight captaining for the show. And then COVID hit, and everything just stopped. And it was nice because it's a nonprofit, so they were like, we're going to pay out your contracts because the government will just take your money back. It was nice until about August. And then,
until it all ran out.
Yeah, and then that ran out, and then the extra 600 ran out, and my life ran out, and
So did you stay in New York, or did you move back to LA after COVID?
I stayed in New York. I actually just moved back home to Houston November. Because that's a whole nother thing of like, now I'm kind of like at an existential crisis of like, what should I do? I have nothing to do, but I have all the time to do all the things that I have always said I wanted to do. And it just didn't feel smart to keep spending that kind of money with even no jobs on the horizon. And I will say I've been a very, very, very blessed actor because I've never had to do anything other than the arts ever since I graduated high school in 2006.
And by that you mean like no side gigs?
Yeah, no side gigs. Like I think
like you're not moonlighting as like a catering server on the weekends
or a waiter. No, I think I got a job as a bartender in the theater for like a couple of weeks, but then I got the call for the Book of Mormon, so I quit. But like I was like in training, like I had never really put the time in. So I don't. Really
you don't have to justify it to us. The latter sounded better anyway.
Right. And so I'm realizing how blessed I have been, but also it has been really, really, really sad to not have that community because it's all I've known. I mean, these people are my family. I left home 15 years ago, and it's been eye-opening to be back here, and scary, but also positive because this time has given me so much time to reflect and be critical of myself and the world.
Yeah, and I kind of just want to touch on that. I mean, like you said that you are in a more privileged position than, say, somebody that was bartending or serving, moonlighting and doing other jobs. So, like, I'm sure you do know actors and actresses that are in that position. So, like, how are they coping? I mean, I just feel like, as somebody myself that's not even involved in theater other than going to see shows and being a patron of the arts, like how much it saddens me. Like, I just feel like these people are and yourself included, maybe just like are in such this dark place. Like, how are you coping with all this stuff?
The sad thing is that there has been very little to no relief for the arts community. It's been kind of like, well, just figure it out. Mm-hmm. And specifically in New York is one of the highest grossing, economic structures. Mm-hmm. And for it to just be like, oh, well, just figure it out and we don't know to when, feels like we really have been kind of tossed aside. And what it has done, it is like there's always a hierarchy in everything. So we have nobody is working really, and so it kind of even the small things, like, because there's so many virtual shows and Shakespeare readings online and things, and they'll pay a little bit, but because the celebrities are out of work, also they'll do them, and so it just kind of pushes everybody. So it's like if you weren't already a star before this, you probably aren't getting many offers. If you kind of were growing, your network, then you're asked to do things here and there. But if you are kind of weren't in the club, you're really locked out right now, and it's unfortunate, and it's nothing. Unfortunately, it's nothing really to be done, because even the top people like Meryl Streep did. She was doing at the Public. She did virtual readings and something. Like Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is sitting at her computer on Zoom. Like, wow,
right?
Like
seems kind of weird to even think about it.
Right? You're like, how do I have any hope? Like it's like, God, like who wants to watch me when you can watch Meryl Streep? So I know it's I don't even have eloquent words to say other than it sucks. It sucks. It really does.
Well, what is interesting is like how things have had to shift to all this virtual stuff, and I've been like loosely following like the stuff, and I do want to say like somebody that is kind of stepping up to the plate and doing a lot with a little is Jeremy O'Harris. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on like everything that he's doing in terms of, HBO giving him all that money, and him giving it to, up and coming things, and kind of, giving back.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I read an article about how that Hollywood should give back to the theater, because how many stars, like, they are who they are because of the theater. Yeah. And then what's nice about Jeremy O'Harris is that he went to Yale. His Slave Play just got all the Tony nominations, and he is the new voice of the theater. And so I before even COVID happened, that was already kind of in play for him. He was very clear that I am a theater person. I love the theater, and while the Hollywood platform, it gives you more visibility and money, but he's very clear about being a thespian, which I love. I love, and I think he's very smart and very creative. Yeah. And I think the issue is that it does need to come from the top down. All these systemic things have to come from the top down. It's like the bottom people can scream all they want, but if the people at the top don't agree, nothing can really happen. So I am proud of him for, he's like, okay, yes, you think I'm great. You think, you want to hear more of me, but know that the theater helped me hone this voice. So put money back into the theater.
Well, that, and with him basically saying, fuck the system with, Slave Play and his, +1 initiative thing that he was doing, and giving tickets to people that would never have the opportunity to come see the show. I just think is amazing. And even more amazing for, a Black artist to be in a position to be able to do that and, say, fuck the system, because like you said, it has to come up from the top, but at the top, it's not usually Black people making decisions. Exactly. So I think that's amazing. And like, I don't know, I just think that with theater, there is such a theater, and even Hollywood, they just face like they have these two main problems they have that Black people face. They have a problem with accessibility and a problem with visibility. And while like accessibility in terms of like getting Black audiences to come and be interested in theater and be in turn like taking that interest and going and supporting the arts, and in turn like I feel like with visibility, like you're not going to get Black actresses and actors on stage when your audience isn't diverse. And would you agree with that?
You know, I think yes, I agree. I also think that the higher ups don't believe Black people have an interest, and
because
so
they're not given the opportunity.
Right, and so that they don't advertise. We don't. I feel like most of the time we just don't know, and it's unfortunate because you look at stuff like The Color Purple. Black people will come if we know about it and we see people like us on stage. We will happily come in our Sunday's best. And I think that even with Hollywood and like the Black Panther, it's like one of the highest grossing action movies ever. But it's just because, you know, Black people are actually seeing, like, we can create those numbers, but it's like we just don't have stories. It's we have very few stories. And you look at Tyler Perry, you know, $1 billion. And it's because the Black people are like, oh yeah, I see myself.
I do want to say, like, even with Tyler Perry, I think it's even a problem now where, you know, Tyler Perry has created, like, I love Tyler Perry and what he has done for, you know, the Black community in terms of telling our stories and getting that stuff out. But it's almost like now it's like he's created like this subsection of just like another box that, you know, if you're going to tell a Black story, it has to be basically like Tyler Perry's story, where in fact, I do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people, you know, he came out, carved away, made a box, and then the typical thing is to take everybody and put them in that box when not everybody's like that. And so I just feel like Black people and people of color are just like continuously put in boxes and not really asked, you know, what they want to talk about or like their voices.
I think Hollywood, and not just with Tyler Perry, I think Hollywood, just the kind of algorithm is kind of rinse and repeat. It's like, okay, that worked, let's do it again.
Exactly.
that worked, let's do it again. And I there aren't enough Black creatives. And so I think that is why we kind of get stuck with seeing, you know, the same thing. It's like, okay, is it like Insecure? Is it like Tyler Perry? Is it?
Yeah.
They don't know much because they don't give us much opportunity, and so they then just tend to rinse and repeat the thing that they see that works.
And I think,
and I do.
I think at the end of the day, it just comes from people not getting that. Being not exposed to that, like in childhood or high school, like unless you're going to a creative high school, you're not really getting exposed to that. So then Black people are like, you know, I was never exposed to that. Why would I put myself and my stories out there? Like, you know, they have no interest in it because they weren't exposed to it.
Well, you know, what I'm realizing, even being back home, is being an artist is a huge privilege. You know, there's a certain, a basic kind of like the fact that I came from a middle class family. My family was okay with me being an artist, but most Black people don't. You know what I mean? We are not. It is not an even playing field.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's
not.
like they don't have the privilege to be like, oh, okay, I want to go to the go to school for arts. You know, Black people are like, I'm not paying that for something that's not, you know, for sure.
Practical or
Yeah, and I say that because I know so many talented singers, writers, directors, dancers, but they really just didn't have the privilege to take that leap of faith. And so I don't think it's necessarily that we don't have the want or the desire to tell stories and to create and to be artists. I literally just think it is solely because we don't have, as a whole,
the
as a race,
resources.
we don't have resources.
Yeah, I agree.
It takes money to be. I mean, it takes being able to call your family sometime and be like, "Hey, I don't got it. I don't got it this month." Even this is the first time I've had to do it, but thank God that I have a family that can support me and be like, "Okay, I need to come back home for a little bit until this pandemic lets up because I don't have a job, you know, and I won't have a job for a little bit probably." But if I was in a different set of circumstances, I you know I would not have had the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think there should be more funding for Black creatives, for up and coming
definitely.
Black creatives, or POC. We could let's all encompassing, because there are so many more nuanced stories to be told.
So you're saying like at the end of the day, the solution to this is giving, you know, Black people and people of color the resources they need to get where they need to get, because at the end of the day, it's the lack of resources that is causing this lack of accessibility and visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm saying. I mean, money talks. I mean,
yeah, it's really crazy. And when you think about it from, I mean, even when you're looking and you're thinking, okay, why aren't Black people coming and seeing shows? Let's give, you know, some tickets away to people that are Black or of color, and, you know, get them in seats, get them exposed. But then you got to think, well, it's not even just that. Like, accessibility goes so far as how are they going to get to the theater?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many factors in it, and it's just like there's no one simple answer. And I just find it, I sit here and talk with my friend about it all the time about it. I mean, but it's just, it is really it's just astounding how many things are in the way.
Yeah, because I didn't even think like, okay, we give them tickets, but what a luxury to just sit for 3.5 hours and then the half-hour train ride to get there and the half-hour train back after your day. Like, also that, you know, there's that, it's a luxury. It's a luxury to just be able to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and just watch something. Like, and granted, we do the same thing in the comfort of our homes, watching Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
But the theater for so long has been a luxury for white people.
Yeah.
And I think that Black people don't even, I'm not gonna say theater, I'll say Broadway, has been a luxury for Black people. And I don't know if we want to even spend that kind of money, you know, for 4 hours. You know, I mean, tickets now are like, if you get a Hamilton seat, I think it's like $300. Slave Play was, I think, about $189. It's
Not cheap.
high dollar. It's
Yeah.
not cheap. It's not cheap.
So what have you been doing to keep yourself like inspired, I guess, during all this stuff? Because I mean, I just feel like, I don't know. One part of me feels like obviously it's depressing, but then like another part of me feels like all of this hibernation, I guess, for theater and everything, like once it does come back, it's just going to be like this big renaissance of ideas and productions. And like, I can't wait until it comes back, because I just have this feeling it's just going to be like this explosion of creativeness. So like, what are you doing to keep yourself creative?
Yeah. There was like a meme going around, like they were like, "Oh, the singing and the dancing that's gonna be had on these stages once we all get back. Like, everybody's gonna be, their throats are gonna be so rested. It's like, legs are gonna be up. I realize, I will say, yes, it has been very, very depressing. I no lie, this is going to sound dramatic, but I had a full breakdown before this conversation, because I feel like I have been shadow boxing for so long. I've been like, God, there needs to be more Black creatives, and why don't people just ask me for my voice and for my ideas and my creativity? And I have realized in this time that that they're not going to just give us anything.
No, we got to take it.
Yeah, we have to go harder than fucking paint. And that being said, I have experienced so much in this quarantine, like the whole gamut of emotions. Like, I got my heart broken, tried different drugs, partied, sat at home, cried, been spending time with family. And I realized that I'm like, I'm going to have to grab this fucker by the balls. And so I have been writing a pilot. And and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about it because it's a very nuanced depiction of Black queer artists.
Oh, I love it.
It's really honest, and I think it's a story that hasn't been told, because it's about working in a theater company and the Black Lives Matter voice, giving them, the platform to create something in this theater, and then how we have just kind of, to survive, had to assimilate and kind of lost our own voices. Mm-hmm. And so I've been really, 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 really excited about just writing, because I have always been terrified of writing, because there's so many like structures and things that have to kind of be in place for it to work well dramatically. And so to be inspired, I literally have just been watching all the master classes online, which is so nice now about YouTube.
Oh my gosh. Let me just. She just released her thing today.
Yes, and it's funny because I've been thinking, I'm like, well, maybe I just, so people can even read the pilot, maybe I do like a concept trailer, and we do like portions of it as a web series, and then she released her thing, and then that made me start crying. I'm like, it's so hard. And then I started watching her thing from like 9 years ago, and it's similar to Insecure, but like you just see her like in the shits, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the shits right now. But like anything worth it takes time. And so it's been nice, because I also have, with all the depression, also I'm like, listen, I now have the time to put those ideas onto paper.
Yeah.
And so that has been very, very, very nice. The time, exactly as you said, I do believe that once all this lets up, it's going to be, it's it's going to separate the boys from the men, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to be. I will be in the forefront of this renaissance, because there's going to be a renaissance. I truly believe that.
You know, what's just so funny about you talking about all this stuff is that, so not even Layla knows this. Like, I think I maybe have talked to like one person about this, but, like, to give you a little background, like I did theater in high school. I was kind of put in the position where, you know, theater, like, education in theater wasn't really available for me. Like, I had to pick something that was more realistic and practical. So I chose nursing. Been doing that. Love it. Love to see it. It's great. But you know, and I feel like with quarantine, this voice inside me, you know, from my childhood has just been like, you know, just getting even louder, because I've had more time to just sit with my thoughts and everything. But, you know, my childhood self is just feeling like really stifled and like neglected. And I do. So like, one thing that I want to do is like, I want to start writing a TV pilot. I have no fucking background in this shit. I have no, writing is, dare I say, even more intimidating than acting. It is fucking hard and terrifying for me. So just hearing you talk about that is like, it's just so crazy. And because like, I feel the same way, and it's so scary and intimidating for me to sit down and write down my thoughts, because like you said, I feel like I'm just sitting around waiting for somebody to give me this opportunity. And it's like, nobody's going to give me this opportunity. Like, nobody's going to give a Black person an opportunity. They have to take it.
Yeah. Well, what I'm realizing, because I'm like, you know, I have always been. It's funny because even in my function in my high school, and it's fun to be around my high school friends again. It's kind of also making me remember like just my essential nature. But I have always been the person that's like, okay, I have an idea. I literally in elementary, I used to, because I love Charm so much, I used to be like, okay, I got a game. We're gonna play Charm. If I touch you, that means you're frozen. You have to, like, it's basically tag. But if I touch you, that means you're frozen for 10 seconds. If this person touches your head, then you have to tell them where you hid the thing that we're looking for. Like, it's like a premonition. And I have always just had this, like, they used to call me P. Diddy, because I've always have ideas. I would always have ideas. and I literally, like, I'm like, I've always just thought, like, oh my God, I have such great ideas. Like, why doesn't anybody want to hear them? And I am realizing, I'm like, no, unlike acting, there's, you know, auditions to go on, you know, like, okay, I can go to that audition and I could, you know, be friends with this person, you know, but there's really none of that for creatives. It's like, you just have to fucking do it. And
I'm learning.
I realized that I haven't been doing it. And my mom's a nurse too. I love that. She's an RN. I love nurses. And the funny thing, I think I get all of my acting talent from her, because I feel like nurses are such showgirls.
Oh, we have to be fucking showgirls. Let me fucking tell you.
Y'all are such showgirls. And so people. So I love that. But yes, I listen, I'm laughing that I'm telling you just to do it, because I was crying about 30 minutes ago about, like, oh my God, this is so hard. But there's literally, like, there's so many resources now, because I found this really cool YouTube about writing a pilot, and like Breaking Bad is known as the greatest pilot ever, and they literally break down why it's a good pilot. And then I watched something about Shonda Rhimes' masterclass. She was saying like things that work, you literally write it down, like to break down that pilot or that show you like, and even to the page number, like okay, the first 5 pages they were in this one scene, then this happens, and then the next 5 pages this happens, and it can't. What's nice and difficult about writing is that there are structures that are in place, and it's nice to know them and then know why you're breaking them. And so I have been really, really diligent about getting the information, because I just hadn't done it. I just hadn't done it. And it's funny because I understand character so much as being an actor, and then going to school for directing. I understand intention and objective and clear ideas, but language has always scared me. And I'm realizing like, stop, just do it and make mistakes, and
I saw
break
this
rules.
YouTube video with Michaela Cole, and oh my God, she is a goddess.
I May Destroy You. Literally, I break down. I made like my 3 are I May Destroy You, Looking, and Insecure. And I just think specifically with Michaela, I think she is so raw, and it's so complex and simple at the same time.
And
I'm obsessed.
She said in her little YouTube video that she was being interviewed on, advice that she was giving to people. And she was like, look, like at the end of it, she said, these are the things that have worked for me, but I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I've Googled how to write a TV show. Like, don't think that like I'm above a Google search. Like,
right.
And I just love that. Like, it's just, for me, I feel like I am my worst enemy, and like writing stuff down is so intimidating. And I mean, I haven't still, and I'm just trying to get over it. But I need to just start writing. Cause I, like you said, like I have fucking ideas. I know they're good fucking ideas. I just need to actually commit to writing the shit down.
And also I got this from Issa Rae also, and she did like an interview back in the day, and she was saying like people try to network up, and it's really about. And I will say that having even moved into LA just for a little bit, I realizing networking across is the way to do it. It's not about, pitching the idea to Donald Glover. It's about, these types of conversations, and then we ask Raimi to star in it, and then I have a friend that can shoot it for us, and then the tide rises all the ships. Yeah, and I think that for me specifically, this time everybody's kind of artistically is kind of out of work right now, so it's been nice to collaborate again, because art you can't do it on your own, so I think I always felt overwhelmed, because I've always felt like I had to do everything by myself. I always felt like I was in it by myself. If I have any idea, I have to figure it all out by myself. But this time has allowed me to be like, hey, can you read this? Hey, can you help me edit this? Hey, what do you think about this? And that has helped me a lot. And I think that's what's nice is kind of like, reaching out to that community is I'm like, okay, you help somebody, then they help you.
Yeah.
So I say, get a friend. Let's do it.
Do you think that writing, acting has its own sense of vulnerability, but like writing your words, do you find it difficult because it's like it requires I want to almost say a deeper level of vulnerability, because at the end of the day, it's 9 times out of 10, you're writing from personal experience or like some part of you. So do you find that writing is extremely vulnerable?
You know, we had a 5-hour writing session today with 2 of my friends, and it's things about this summer, and their characters are very, very clear. Mm-hmm. And my character, or the character that's based off of me, didn't have clear internal conflict. Mm-hmm. And it just would, which made holes in the plot. And so we were talking about like how, where next? How do we get into Act 2? How do we get into Act 3? And I just got really, really frustrated. I was like, these are huge holes. I don't understand. I don't see why this character is doing this. And I realized that I was too afraid to put my personal internal conflict down in paper. And mm-hmm. that is exactly what was what it needed. And I think that's also kind of why I was emotional today, because I had to really be honest about those things. And I think also I'm in therapy now that's why I'm so happy to be in therapy.
Me too.
But I do believe that any good show, and that's why I love Michaela so much. And I don't even know. And what's nice too about writing, you can be like, no, it's fake. Like she could very well say, no, I just made all that up, which I think is fun. But it seems, because it does feel so authentic, that you do put those things that scare you, and that's what makes us fall in love with a character. Mm-hmm. Like even simply Issa Rae's the awkward Black girl, like it's like she had to sit and say like, I'm awkward. I'm awkward. And I do think that does take a level of vulnerability that hiding behind actors, we get to kind of hide behind a character, especially if we didn't write it. I can be like, oh yeah, I really went there, but it's not me. And I do believe, to be a good writer, it is about putting the beautiful and the ugly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just getting out of your head and just like that is the hardest thing, at least for me, is getting out of my head. And I feel like I'm my own worst critic, my own toughest critic. And like at the end of the day, that's going to be the thing that is like stopping me from doing what I want to do. So it's just really refreshing to hear that from you, because I literally have been, the past couple of weeks have been like exactly what you're saying. Like, just kind of in a dark spot for a minute. And having like a lot of internal conflict over like, should I be doing this? Can I do this? Just really like questioning myself. And so it's really nice to hear that I'm not the only one that has been thinking like that.
Well, I could say specifically my journey in these past couple of weeks have been terrifying with writing this thing, because as a Black gay man, it is that's 32. I feel like we were at the end of the generation where it was like, you don't tell your business, there weren't many out. I feel like this whole we show everybody our underbelly thing is new. And it's so nice to see. I love, it's so silly, but I remember I cried during Lil Nas X's Grammy performance, because I was like, oh my God, look at this chocolatey Black gay ass on this stage. And he's just living his life, and people don't even really get the metaphor of I wrote that thing. I'm like, he's literally told y'all I wrote that thing till I can't no more. And he is fully the best-selling artist of the year, and he's fully living out his truth and how exciting it is. And so I'm super excited about this new generation, because I do feel like I can take those risks to really, really show myself. And that's actually what people want to see nowadays. They want to see the ugly truth, which scares me, honestly, to show. Because I just feel like, I was raised where it was like, keep
you
your
need to
business
be
to
private.
yourself. Yeah, be private. If you're gay, just don't talk about it. It's like, okay. And so it is very difficult, specifically for me. But I think that writing that nuanced story is actually the ticket. It's actually like, okay, we have people like Michaela and Issa Rae that are like, they're risk actually showing themselves. And that for me is fulfillment. It's like I am fully being authentic. I'm getting paid to do what I love, surrounded by people I love, creating for people I love, giving back to my community that made me. But it's been really, really terrifying, because I'm having to, even in therapy, really think about that homophobia that I've been conditioned to have, my own personal racialized trauma, but I think all of that makes the stew real good.
Yeah. No, I agree. And did you start therapy during quarantine?
I did. I had bouts before, like quick ones, but this has been like the most steady I've been.
Yeah, I started therapy during quarantine too, and it's been a lot. It's a lot of unpacking, and especially, like you said just a second ago, internalized racism, that we've just had to deal with all of our lives, and just a lot of fucking unpacking. And I will say therapists are probably having a fucking field day with this quarantine. They are making bank.
They're making bank. Well, I honestly, the funny thing, I have never even thought that I would have the space to try to heal from racialized trauma. I just thought that I would just have to deal with it, because that's what it was in America. That's what it is in America. But I'm like, oh my God, I am racist. I have really negative thoughts because of America and what we are conditioned to believe, even as simply as simple things like colorism. It's not simple. Let me not say simple, but I just always am like, oh yeah, oh my God, this person is so pretty, or this person I'm attracted to these type of people, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give you privilege and superiority because you have a close approximation to whiteness. Yeah, I'm sorry, you still have to treat me well, Yeah, and I've never, even it's funny because I have such a deep, loving relationship with my grandmother, but she is super, I said at the beginning, she's Louisiana Creole, and some of the things she says about dark-skinned people and natural hair, and I have just always heard these things as growing up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually not okay, and I love you so much, grandmother, and I know that you just are conditioned to say that you're hurt people. These are probably the things that you have heard growing up and had to deal with, and so you don't even know any better. But I'm like, I can't continue to internalize these things. I have to break the trauma cycle. I gotta. And so I am grateful that this time has allotted this kind of criticism
and healing and everything in between.
Yes, and
well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Yes, thank you for sharing your story.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And I listen, I thought I was going to have nothing to talk about.
Oh, we went there. We dig deep.
It's a virtual form of therapy.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Is there anything you want to highlight or mention? Either like your website or Instagram or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Instagram, the THEE, Deli DELLYE. The as in because I'm obsessed with Megan Thee Stallion because she's from Houston and she's like classy, bougie, and ratchet. You know, like we do. Yeah. I guess just Instagram for now because I'm not even gonna tell y'all things or comment. It's just gonna drop. It's just gonna drop. I'm done. I'm done with the talking. I'm into the action in 2021. So yes,
we're here for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And when we return, we will be talking to our second interviewee. So stick around. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
for having me. Thank you.
Welcome back to TipTea Podcast. Joining Layla and I tonight is a dear friend of mine, Director of Programming at the Fabulous Fox in St. Louis, John O'Brien. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to the pod. You're finally here.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm so excited. Thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
You're welcome. So let's start off by having you tell us and our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what'd you study in college, where are you now, all that shit.
Okay. So I am from St. Louis originally, back here right now. I grew up, whole family's in St. Louis. Went to college, and my parents were really excited about this because I applied to college and I was bio pre-med. And they were like, wow, this is going really well. I immediately dropped out. Like week one, I dropped bio pre-med and became a music major. So my parents really were like over the moon.
For a week.
Yeah, I was like a pre-med for maybe 1 week before I was like, no, that's enough of that one. But then the cute choice was I decided to study music, specifically the French horn, which is an instrument I never played until college. So it's really just poor choice after poor choice when it came to college.
So what did you play in high school? Like you did the French horn in college. What did you play in high? Because you were in band in high school.
Yeah, so I played trumpet in high school.
I didn't know that.
And was a big marching band kid and loved all of that. But I actually hated the trumpet, weirdly enough. So when I got to college, I was like, oh, I miss music. I'm going to try something out. And I sent an email to the French horn professor and the piano professor to see if either of them would teach me. And only the French horn professor got back to me. So that's how I chose my major.
Oh my God, life is so weird.
So many good choices.
So yeah, and the weirdest thing is that I never owned a French horn. I played in college, never owned my own horn. I just borrowed one. But I actually just bought my very first French horn, baby's first horn.
Have you played it yet?
Yes, and my neighbors totally hate me, and I don't blame them. I sound so bad.
So how did this switch from the French horn into theater come about? Like, was this during college, or like this is like after you graduated? You're like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, kind of all of the above, in the sense that, you know, I had no interest in, or no plan to go into like theater, to work in theater. But you know, I got an internship. I applied for like a music direction internship at the Muni here in St. Louis, which is a huge outdoor musical theater venue, like 11,000 seats. It's incredible. So I applied to work at the Muni and to like work with the music side of things. Did not get that job, but they hired me to be their shopper, which was like my worst nightmare job a little bit, to be honest, because it was like driving around shopping and working by myself, which are like all things that I totally hate. Robert knows how horrible I am at decision making and shopping.
Oh wait, can you explain what that is to me?
Yes,
for someone
please.
Who has no idea.
I don't
For
even
sure.
know what this is. So yeah.
Yeah, Robert, you might actually know this. So yeah, no, when I got hired at the Muni, they hired me as their shopper / buyer, which basically meant that every day I would go into the office and I would go to every department of production. So I'd go to the like scene shop, I would go to the costume shop, I would go to props and basically say, what do you guys need today? And they would give me like this wacky list of things where they'd be like, we need a crossbow and 4 gravestones and 2 gallons of baby oil. And like, so I, like, it was truly insane.
Sounds like a weird serial killer list. I love that actually a little bit.
100,000,000% was a weird serial killer list, and I'm probably flagged on a lot of different registries because of that summer.
Your Google searches, baby oil.
I'm thrilled to be like out walking amongst the people. Don't know how that happened, but it was truly the weirdest summer of my life, including like I had to buy a crossbow off someone on Craigslist. And that was horrifying. And he was like, oh, so what are you going to shoot with it? And I was like, nothing. It's a prop in a show. And he was so disappointed that his like beloved crossbow that probably killed things was going to be like a prop in the Addams family. So I'm just cleaning up the streets bit by bit, you know?
Thank you for your work.
I'm thrilled.
This is probably the worst job imaginable for you, because like you're terrible at decision making. So I have this vision in my brain right now of you just like scrambling around every single day, and that sounds horrifying.
Oh, it was straight up the thing of nightmares for me. Like when I was interviewing for this job that I had like no right to apply for, she like, I guess my cover letter made the production manager laugh, and she's like, I want to work with you, but the only thing we have left is shopper. And I was like, that is the last thing in the world I ever want to do. But I was like, of course, yay. And one time I went out to drinks with my boss and I made the mistake. I was like, oh, you know, I actually really hate shopping. And she's like, what? That's your entire job. I'm like, oh yeah, miserable, truly miserable.
How long did you do that?
So that was just one summer season, but that's basically, so when I did that, that's kind of when I started to fall in love with like the behind the scenes, like production side of theater. Cause I was working with all of these incredible people from Broadway and around the country. And I was like, oh, wow, there's so much that goes on like in management and producing. So I kind of became a little obsessed with working behind the scenes in theater. So that's kind of the moment where I decided to switch gears and really start focusing on like arts administration and like management and producing in theater.
So for our listeners, can you kind of explain like the day-to-day duties that you do as the director of programming for the Fox?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first thing I do is just sit down at my desk and cry for like 3 hours straight.
So that's not unique to your job, just everyone's.
No, it's just kind of like a standard thing, you know. Mondays are 4 hours just for the fun of it, just to feel alive again, I guess. But no, so my job at the Fox is basically I'm responsible for choosing and scheduling and negotiating the deals for all the Broadway shows. So I kind of oversee all things Broadway, and kind of like my dream job in so many ways, to get to be in St. Louis where I'm from, and like like grew up and saw shows at the Fox and always like thought it was the most incredible job that someone incredible thing that someone was sitting there choosing these shows. And so it's been really incredible, through my Muni connections and kind of gaining experience while I was working in New York. Got connected with Fox, and so now I go to New York and watch Broadway shows and then figure out what St. Louis might like and hope they do. And when they don't, they tell me they don't like it. They tell me very loudly and very meanly. So that's really fun.
So do you have a spot in the Fox that you can go and like scream? Like, like when you work in a restaurant, it's like the, what's the cold, like the fridge place, like, the cold storage area that you can go and, like scream. Is there anywhere in the Fox you can just like go and hide and scream?
Mostly just within my head. I'm pretty sure. I think the people in the office near me, like offices around me, absolutely hear me say some like really questionable things. So I really want to give a shout out to Janisha and Crystal, who ignore the really bad things I'm yelling sometimes when things go wrong.
I was going to say, hearing you talk about work kind of reminds me of Billy Eichner on Parks and Rec, where he's like, I'm just passionate, but he's like always yelling.
Yeah, I'm essentially the Billy Eichner of the Fox, so very popular.
Ooh, love that.
Is it bad I've never watched Parks and Rec?
Yes,
yeah,
Robert.
Get out of here. Get out
really
of here.
bad.
I'm terrible.
Really
I'm
bad.
sorry. Oh God.
Fix it. Fix yourself.
Yeah, I know I need to. So you had mentioned that a part of your job is going to see like essentially the up and coming shows on Broadway. I mean, I know from us talking that like you have, you're like a Tony voter, right? So you're like obliged to see all different types of shows. So is that like a blessing and a curse at the same time? Because I'm sure like there are shows that you have to go see and you're like, this is fucking horrible.
I mean, that's actually a really great question because yes, in like overall complete blessing, dream come true. Like when I found out I was going to be a Tony voter and was like literally required to see every show that opens on Broadway, is like, life is good, life is beautiful, everything in the world is magic. But then I quickly realized that there is a dark side, a wee baby bit. I'm not going to be the guy who complains about getting to go to New York and see Broadway, but I'm also going to be the guy that complains about getting to go to New York and see Broadway. Just because like some of the shows are, maybe not my cup of tea, but maybe they're for someone. But some of them can be really long and really questionable. But, part of the job, part of the gig.
I have seen a few shows here and there, but I mean, obviously you probably have a much larger repertoire and frame of reference, but do you have any moments or any shows in particular that you would say like are the worst show you've ever seen?
Oh gosh, the worst show I've ever seen. So I feel like there's a lot of bad theater, but there's a lot of good theater. So, okay, I'm going to backtrack a little baby bit. And so when I was in high school, I started, there's this program called the Cappies where high schoolers would go around to like other high schools and review their shows.
Oh my God, I'm having flashbacks because I was in Cappies.
Wait, did you know that? You were a Cappy?
I was a Cappy too. Oh my God, this is bringing flashbacks.
You sound like sorority sisters.
we basically are. Oh my God. I don't mean to like brag or anything, but I am a Cappy Award winner. So toss, like big moment.
Really?
Big moment.
Fuck you.
I am.
Yeah. That's how you know someone's your friend. They don't congratulate you.
Exactly. Just angry. If it makes you feel any better, it was complete bullshit. But we take our little victories and we put those in our pockets. But all to say that when I was doing that, they basically train you to be like, compliment sandwiches, everything is good, blah, blah, blah. But I really loved watching these shows because even if they were horrible, it was kind of incredible because you know that so many people worked so hard on it and like put so much love and like so many tears and so much went into a show. So like I kind of adopted that in high school, and you know I was a theater critic for my college paper and tried to like approach things the same way. And even now, like when I'm seeing things in New York or around town, kind of try to keep that in mind that, you know, people put so much work into it. So like love it all, but also sometimes a lot of love doesn't always make it the most entertaining show. The first show I worked on in New York, my first Broadway credit was like one of the biggest flops in recent Broadway history. And that was really.
What was that?
That was the cat. I don't do.
No, I mean,
oh,
I meant
like,
what was.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the mic's picking up.
I'm sorry. It's normally not this unprofessional. I really do apologize.
You're fine. What? So what was this show that are you going to mention it, or would you?
Yeah, spill the tea, Hanny.
We're on TipTea, so
I'll just say, you know, success and quality are such subjective things, but I worked on a Dr. Zhivago musical, and you know there was a lot of good about it. There's a lot that went right, but also the reviews were like brutal, and that show did not last long. And it was an awkward day in the office after opening when like truly every critic was just ripping in. But you know, the cast killed it. Some of the songs were bops. They had a lot of free drinks at the opening night party, so there's a lot to look forward to. A lot of good came from that. I got a free shot glass that I still use.
So, question with I'm circling back to the Cappies. Because I'm still this just like brought back so many memories for me. Like, would you say that the best part was like, you know, so say like it was your school and you had a show and you know, the Cappies came and reviewed your show, and then like you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the reviews, and then you get the review, and like for me, like because I was never like a main character or anything, I was just like something like on the sidelines. But let me tell you what, like when a Cappy would like mention in a sentence, like one sentence about you doing something good, like that was better than sex. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It was like, man, that little mention would make my life.
I am the shit.
Yeah. This is, I still put it on my resume. My resume is only a collection of quotes from high school theater reviews.
So
see, like my full circle moment that's awesome is that right now, well, I guess not right now because COVID sucks, but I get to review local high school shows again. I'm doing it again for the like St. Louis High School Musical Theater Awards, which is a very long title. But my favorite game is like, so I go around to schools in St. Louis and see some of their productions, but my like tactic is I will only choose the shows that feel really inappropriate for a high school to do. And it has not led me wrong yet.
So I need examples.
Well, okay. I mean, normal high school shows to do, like kids are doing Thoroughly Modern Millie. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Kids are doing
Christmas
Little
Carol.
Shop. You love to see it. Christmas Carol. Like all these things, super normal. But like, I think a couple of years ago, I saw a school do Cabaret, which like my favorite part of that was just watching all the dads cringe as their daughters were like really trying to be sexy on stage, because that's a graphic show. So that was intense. You love to see it. We're here for cringing dads. And then like Ragtime, I saw high school do Ragtime, and I was like, that's some like heavy stuff for these high schoolers at a mostly. Yeah. And that's like, I mean, that show is like about race, and I mean, mostly about race. And I was really nervous, I'll say that, about going to see that because I was like, I hope that they actually respect what the show and like the like racial requirements of the show. Like, you can't do this. Like, that's the whole show, and they did. They were pretty good about that. So I had some real respect for that.
I think the best Cappy show I saw was this school. I don't remember who it was, but somebody did Steel Magnolia, and it was really fucking good. But yeah, that's just so funny. Like you said that, and that just brings back like so many fucking memories, like both good
Robert,
and traumatizing.
Yeah, I'm so upset that we didn't see each other's shows.
Yeah, I mean, you never came, I guess. Did you ever go to like Fort Zumwalt? Like,
I really have no clue. But if I did, I would give you the most glowing one sentence of your life.
The tree in the background looked beautiful.
Oh my gosh. The sway, the arms, everything flawless.
Oh shit. So switching gears, we've talked about this a lot. But I want our listeners to kind of get your story because I think it's actually pretty interesting. As the COVID pandemic was like starting to play out and like Broadway shut down, you were actually like in New York like the day before it shut down, correct?
Yeah, I was there the day it shut down.
Okay, yes. Yeah. So I want to tell us all about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in New York because I go up to New York every month for work, and was going to go see some shows and go to a reading of a show we were working on, and was really excited. It's like March 12th. I get up there on the 11th of March, and I feel like, we had like heard about COVID at this point. Everyone like knew, and at Fox we were like having some internal conversations, like, okay, how much does this need to be on our radar? Are we canceling things? Do we have to change our protocols? But at this point, like, no one had really taken much action. But then I feel like it just went from 0 to 100. Like the NBA shut down, like all these major sports were like shutting down. And on the 12th, the Broadway League, which oversees all the 41 Broadway theaters, decided they're shutting down. And at that point, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And, I remember like that whole day, I was just like bouncing on calls and like calling up because, we had several shows coming into the Fox, and I was like freaking out. Baby's first cancellation. So I was like calling these producers and saying, hey, the city is shutting us down. Like, we can't have any more than like 1,000 people. We can't do the show. And, talking with all these producers, and, the first producer I called was the producer of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was supposed to come to our theater like the next week. And they're like, no, you're the first theater that's canceled on us. And I was like freaking out. And, it was the first time I've had to cancel one of my subscription shows. And I was like, I hope this is okay.
Now you're a pro at it.
Oh my gosh. I'm so numb. I'm so dead inside. It's really convenient. There's a point where like a few months ago, one of my agents called me and like moved like 7 of my shows. Like, weeks and weeks and weeks of my subscription got moved, and I was just like, okay, away we go. Because I'm just dead inside.
You're dead. You're absolutely numb. So
No, I'm a hollow shell of man. But no, I think what's wild is that like when Broadway shut down, we really had no idea how long it would last. Like in New York, they only had shut down for a few weeks. Initially, was their announcement. At the Fox, we were like, oh man, how are we going to take care of our people? Like I flew home on the night of the 12th when Broadway closed, and we were in meetings all day Friday trying to figure out, okay, how do we take care of all of these people at Fox who were planning on having 2 weeks of income for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Like, we didn't even think in our minds, like, it's so weird and naive to think back on, but we had no idea that it was going to go on beyond like 2 weeks, which is nuts. So we're like trying to do all this problem solving. Okay, well, if anyone needs the hours, like, this is what we're going to do. But like, it just kept creeping on more and more, and like more shows were getting canceled, and Broadway was extending their shutdown for more and more months. And I mean, at this point, Broadway won't be returning until like late summer, early fall at the very earliest. So it'll be like a year and a half of Broadway being shut down, which is totally bananas. Like, it has never happened in the history of Broadway. Even like for 9/11, Broadway was closed for like a few days max. So this is truly insane. And, you know, I think that we're all trying to figure out where to go from here. I mean, so many people on Broadway, like 97% of Broadway is out of work right now. So it's really been insanely devastating. And like even beyond Broadway, like off Broadway, regional theater, like so many livelihoods of artists have been like totally turned on their head, and it's absolutely devastating.
Well, I was going to ask you, but you answered my question. I was going to ask, when did you think like the best guess for them reopening would be? But I guess fall, not next week. I was looking forward to going to a show next week.
Me too. Well, I'll put on like a one-man version of Wicked for you. I was listening to Defying Gravity before we started this, so I'm ready.
Did you love that video that I sent you of me butchering Defying Gravity?
Obviously, I obviously love that. So I will cast you in my non-equity production of Wicked.
Excuse me, I'm an equity worker. I don't.
Okay, well, I can't afford you because we're in a pandemic. So sorry about that. Layla, all eyes on you. What role do you want?
Sweetie, I'm ready. Paint me green.
Paint me green.
Okay. We've got our alphabet. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present? TipTea presents Wicked.
Oh my, could you imagine like one YouTube video 15 minutes long, us just running through stages and costumes and just craziness?
Layla, like, you don't understand. So like, you know, the night that I did the drunk karaoke.
Oh, how could I forget?
So I was singing Defying Gravity, and Tim was like behind, like I had the door closed, and he was recording me singing Defying Gravity. And I need to send this. Better yet, I need to actually just post it online. Truly horrifying. Like, I hit this high note, and then like I start to fall, and then like I start cackling like a fucking witch, and it's just it's a great moment. Like, we love to see it.
See, I feel like that's character. Like, you are adding a witch cackle to your alphabet, and you know, I respect the layers of your performance. I respect that fall. Like, that feels very Defying
Natural.
Gravity, very like natural. So I'm here for it. You know, if Idina Menzel can crack her top note on the Tonys, we'll give you some leeway for your bathtub.
What did she say? I remember she was like performing what song? I think it was like when Frozen was coming out. What was her big song?
Let It Go.
Let It Go. And like she performed it, and people were complaining like that she didn't hit the notes, and she's like, you know, as a singer, I think it's only important to hit like, you know, X amount of note. Like, I don't have to hit every fucking note. And I was like, yes, we love to see
and
it.
Also, like, she goes, when I'm getting this paycheck, I don't care how many notes. Like,
exactly. Like, bitch, I'm fucking Idina Menzel, okay?
Come for me. Please listen to my original soundtrack. Yeah.
See my resume, bitch.
Seriously.
So tell me, like, with Broadway shut down, there's only so much that you guys can do in terms of like scheduling shows and getting things done. Like, you're actively creating like a schedule for when we do open up, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the most wild thing, is that, you know, everything has been such a guessing game that, so generally when I'm booking a Broadway season, I'm like booking my shows 2 and 3 years out. So something that shows up on a stage has probably been on, like at the Fox, has probably been on a calendar for at least 2 years. And it's like such a wild process of trying to figure that out. So this has been wild because, you know, obviously at this point, every theater company in the country that's presenting like touring Broadway has lost like a year and a half or like more of their Broadway season. So, you know, because we don't know when things reopen, when tours are reopening, when the vaccine's available, it's kind of a guessing game. And, you know, we just kind of keep moving the target and the opening keeps changing. And so I'm just constantly trying to take one show and move it here and take this show and move it here. So I think it's been horrible. It's been the thing of nightmares.
I imagine you look like the guy, you know, the meme of the guy that is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with his conspiracy.
Oh, 100%.
Charlie Day going, there is no Carol in HR.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a mix. I'm like a combination of that meme and then the meme of the dog sitting in the house on fire that says it's fine.
Yeah. Yep. I felt that in like my heart.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, everyone right now is the dog in the fire saying it's fine.
Question, do you think that since I'm getting my second dose of the COVID vaccine, that I will legit be, should I be putting out my resume for Broadway and like telling them like I can work? Like,
oh, 100%. I mean, I've already sent along your video of your wicked karaoke. You should have gotten some calls by now, so I'm a little confused.
I haven't heard anything yet, but
no, that's kind of strange. I mean, I thought people would be banging on the door, but I digress. Yeah, so lots of offers coming your way. Buckle up. It might just be a one-man show, so I'll play the French horn.
One-person audience, me,
and a one-person
cheering you on with like a giant foam finger, like you got it, baby.
No, you'll be like the mom from Mean Girls recording me.
Oh yeah, I would be like a Toddlers and Tiara stage mom, like dancing with you as well.
Yes.
Over enunciating the words. Yeah,
shit.
Absolutely. Big smiles, you know, rubbing the dimples. Yeah, it'd be great. So I have a question. Are you guys able to do anything right now in terms of like virtual? Are you trying to pivot in a virtual way to like still be able to create and produce content? Are you guys rehearsing anything right now? Low key? Like, are you doing anything virtual?
Well, okay. So we are not necessarily, which is kind of a bummer. But it kind of speaks to like for our organization, because we are just presenting shows, you know, we do have a producing wing, but primarily the Fox just like present shows that other people have put on. So we're not doing a ton of online content, but we are like trying to push out some of the content that others are doing. And a lot of theater companies are actually doing incredible, super impressive work, because for a lot of these people who are building their own shows, like they're able to find ways to go online. So I'm pretty envious of that, but also just crazy impressed by all these companies like all over the country. These big companies, small companies are just doing all this like really kind of mind-blowing work. And you know, I think before the pandemic, everyone's like, this is what theater is. You sit in a seat and watch a show and blah 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 blah. But now like that has been totally turned on its head, and I am kind of over the moon about it, honestly.
Do you know why I love virtual theater almost more than in live theater? I mean, I obviously live theater is where it's at, and I will always be down to clown, but virtual theater, the benefit is like, okay, so I have this weird thing where I don't know if it's just my body, like, okay, so I go to a show, you know, we're season, what do they call it at the Fox? I'm, what's the elevated people?
You're the Fox Club. You're a Fox Club member.
I'm a Fox Club member, baby. So
thank you. Thank you for your patronage, Robert. Thank you. We appreciate
you. You're welcome. So, you know, we go and we have some drinks And I don't know if it's just because like in my mind, like I am so worried about it that I actually create this monster, but like I go and have some drinks and then like, I will go pee before the show. I'm like, I got to make sure I will literally pee right before they start. And then I make my way to my seat. I have my cocktail. And then like the show starts and I'm like, I broke my seal. I have to pee so bad. And all I can think about is going pee. But I'm like, I'm in the fourth row, so I'm definitely not getting up to go pee, because everybody will look at me and I have this huge complex about going to go pee. And so I don't, and then I torture myself. Whereas like virtual theater, like I could be naked watching the show and going pee and doing whatever. So like that's great.
I mean, Robert, you could do those things. Not virtual theater, like you'd probably get kicked out pretty quickly. But like, the year's 21, and the life is full of possibilities. So live your bliss.
So the next time I go to the Fox, I will just be in a trench coat, and then yeah.
I expect nothing less from you. This is my full expectation. Is that, but also with the magic of It Depends, you don't even need to leave your seat, Robert.
Oh my gosh!
I would never. Ever.
A trench coat, a diaper. Perfect. Fashion.
TipTea podcast is sponsored by Depends.
Oh.
Insert sponsored post here.
At this point, I'm willing to take it, honestly. Like to get a sponsor, I will gladly we can sponsor Depends, like at this point. Like
I really want to like create a fake company that will sponsor TipTea just to like make you say some like wacky tagline, like some really like uncomfortable business. So I'm going to work on that. I'll workshop what that is. But if you get a mysterious sponsorship offer
from baby oil,
yeah, it's like gallon of baby oil.
Oh yeah, I lather myself up in baby oil every day.
Oh my gosh, it's perfect for slip and slides, which is why we bought it at the Muni. It did not stay in the show.
Oh, see, that's a fun little tidbit that I would love to hear about. Just like props malfunctioning, people falling off the stage. I mean, it sounds awful, but also, I mean, I think we can all kind of look at the comedy from that too.
Somebody actually died on that slip and slide. That's why they didn't use it in the show.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tragic.
There were many casualties. It was really dark.
So my next question is, it doesn't have a right or wrong answer, but when Broadway comes back and the country does reopen and, we all can go see shows, do you think that things will look different like from when we before the pandemic? Like, what do you think it'll look like if there are any changes?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it looks really different in some ways. I mean, obviously, Broadway was like booming in a lot of ways. Like, kind of Broadway is at the very top of its game, and was like making more money and had bigger audiences than ever before. And touring Broadway was incredible. Like, honestly, Hamilton changed the game for touring Broadway. So on paper, Broadway was in a really awesome place before the pandemic. But like, to be honest, there's a lot of issues that, I think we're kind of being swept under the rug. One of which being, I think the biggest one being kind of representation on stage and off stage. And, with, everything that happened this summer with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and all these protests are really calling attention to things and kind of holding people accountable, which is incredible, honestly. Broadway was like brought into that. There's been a huge amount of kind of maybe backlash on Broadway, but at least people calling out Broadway, which is good and necessary. I think that Broadway is a really special place and has a lot of work to do to be more inclusive. So, I think returning is going to be really interesting because we're kind of fighting two different things. Like, first of all, Broadway is going to be like, it's been hurting so much. So when things reopen, the big kind of like the safest shows to reopen in some ways are going to be these huge commercial shows. And the safe bets, which is, a lot of things based on movies or that have been running forever. So it's going to be a while before we can get some titles back up on Broadway and, get tourists back in theaters. But I think kind of the biggest change that honestly bigger than the recovery from COVID, I think is going to be Broadway adapting to, this need to be held accountable for, where they are, how they could grow. So much we can do in theater. It's weird because I think a lot of people view theater as being so kind of liberal and very kind of inclusive and things. And in a lot of ways it is. But I mean, if you just kind of look behind the curtain, kind of dive in a little deeper, you kind of realize that it is inclusive, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make it more inclusive, to make it actually inclusive. So I would hope that will be the biggest change. Honestly, that's kind of what I hope to be the case.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely correct. And I didn't even think about the point that you mentioned about, when Broadway does open up, they're going to want to play the shows that are, from a money standpoint, the most marketable, the most profitable. They're not going to take, it might be a little bit before they take risk and do things that are risky. And I think like before the pandemic, we were probably right at the edge of like starting to get to the point where like we could, okay, let's be a little more risky. Let's talk about this stuff, Slave Play being the big hit that it was, starting to take more risks and do that because people want to see that. But now because of the pandemic and then when things get started back up, like I didn't even think about that, but you're correct. Like, I think they're probably going to be like, no, let's be safe for a bit because, we've been out of the game for so long. But, I know that me and you have talked about this a lot, but like diversity versus accessibility and how they are like, A, they're different, but B, they're very intertwined together. But in like your opinion, like, I guess you kind of answered this question, but like Broadway can definitely do more in terms of accessibility and diversity. Like we're not doing enough. What do you have like any ideas? Like I know like this isn't like your specialty, so there's no.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many layers to this, and it's so huge because, like I was saying, like Broadway has always been, it is very kind of liberal in a lot of ways, and like very inclusive in some ways, especially I'd say for the queer community, or actually I kind of strike that for the gay community. So what's wild is like for me, I'm a gay cis white man, so in a weird way, working in Broadway, I am like this is everything about me is kind of the majority, or like is like not at all any kind of so even my like being a gay man puts me in a position of privilege on Broadway in a weird way. So it's
you're at the pinnacle.
I know, oh my gosh, so exciting, but not really. I mean, but that's what's weird is that like, the one thing, like for me, I'm a white cis man, which, we all know the problems with the way truly everything in this country is created for white cis men. But on Broadway, the gay man flourishes, and not to diminish the general societal struggles of being gay, but on Broadway, I think it is a very supportive society for gay men. But, I do think that we don't have representation of, trans men and women and, non-binary folks. Like there's so much in gender that is not represented there. Honestly, like it feels wild, but like before Fun Home, there wasn't even really a lot of lesbian representation on Broadway. And then when it comes to truly everything else, I mean, there's a ton of work we have to do. And I think there's a reckoning where we're realizing that just kind of having some shows with some people of color is not acceptable. It's not enough. And, it's an issue of pipelines and access, I think, from the get-go. And like Robert, you and I have talked about this a lot, but if you're not inviting folks to your theater to see Wicked, to see, I mean, anything really, like it, I think there's this weird false idea that like people of color only want to see shows with people of color, which I think is kind of insane. It's just at the end of the day, you have to invite people to the table. You have to let people know what theater is. I mean, one of the best experiences of my life was going to a student matinee of Hamilton in New York, which, is obviously written by a man of color, featuring people of color. But I was in this audience with like 1,300 kids who, maybe more, I don't know. But these kids were New York City students who had never been to a Broadway show. And they lost their mind and they saw themselves on that stage and they heard themselves in the music and they were just over the damn moon. And it's like, of that huge group, a lot of those kids are probably going to want to go back to Broadway because they thought that was so fun. That was so cool. I really enjoyed that. And then like a smaller subset might try to go into theater. So, I think there's so many layers to this issue because we don't make theater accessible. We don't invite people to the table, invite them in to the room. So I think that's like kind of the starting problem is saying, you are welcome here. This is for you. And, sometimes that's just an invitation and reaching out and marketing, but sometimes it's also, creating programs that help people who need access. And then beyond that, making school like programs, education programs, arts education, more inclusive and letting people of color and like non-binary folks, letting people know that they can be a part of this equation. This can be their career. This can be their life. You can't, I think we're at this weird place on Broadway where we all realize, oh, wait, we don't have people of color that are in leadership positions that are directing shows, but you can't flip a switch. These people don't just spring up out of nowhere. Like you have to create the system for them to exist. And like they should have been given the opportunities that are so easily afforded to like their white counterparts. So now we're kind of at this weird place where we need to figure out how we can invite them to the table and make that happen. So it's a huge multi-layered thing, but
yeah,
I really think their eyes have been opened, and I really hope people take it seriously because there's a lot of things we can do. Like Broadway should be a place for everyone, and I really, really think it is and could be. You just really ought to make it happen.
All right. Well, we have gotten to the point of the interview where we've ended the business, and now we can get down to the pleasure. Okay. And so I thought that it would be really funny to do some theater trivia where I just ask you questions, and I didn't make them hard, but like, here's the thing. If you get the question wrong, you have to take a shot. If,
oh my God, what the hell?
You get the question right, then I will take a shot. Layla, you're not drinking tonight, right? So I will I will
No,
take
I have a lot of
your
emails
shots.
to send, and those emails would slowly just turn into jumbled words. So,
Those are the best
So
kind of
Layla takes
emails.
2 shots. Yep.
yeah, I was
Double
going to say
shots
it's a
for Layla.
slippery slope. So, everyone knows after I've had one, I can't stop.
So
Hey, you know,
are you ready?
Embrace the risk. Live on the wild side. I am horrified. Let's go.
Okay. Let's start a little softball.
I feel like I don't know anything about Broadway. Like,
No,
No,
if
no,
you think
this-
you don't know anything, hi, nice to meet you. I know barely nothing. So,
okay. Can I?
Go ahead. What was your question?
No. Well, let's take it away.
Okay.
It's in God's hands now.
Jesus, take the wheel.
We're going to do a little softball question. This is easy. You should know this. Question number 1. What is the longest running Broadway musical?
Oh, shit. That's the Phantom of the Opera.
Correct. I will take
Thank
a shot.
God.
I was going to say Annie. Was that a good guess?
You know, we give you props for Annie. Annie won the Tony in 1977. Random
Okay,
facts I
with the
know.
facts. Okay,
I
with
know,
the
like
facts.
Tony years.
And you're
I
just
had to say-
fucking worried that you're going to do bad and you spit that, got that out of your ass.
Horrified.
Okay.
1988, Phantom of the Opera wins the Tony for Best Musical.
Okay. Question
I
number
know
2.
stupid things, but like, it's in God's hands.
This is from Wicked, so you should get this. After the firing of Dr. Dillamond from Shiz University, Dr. Nicky Dick, I was writing this question and that just fucking cracked me up. That was a character. This is a character in the fucking
It's
show.
an actual character in Wicked. Did I say that name out loud?
I don't know. So next time we see
This
that,
is a
I
trick
need to
question.
see. But Dr. Nicky Dick replaces him as the history professor. During his class, he presents something. What is this and why is it significant?
Okay, is this, first of all, Lyle at Nicky Dick, which is a fake name and you made that up.
No, this is for real. Nicky Dick is for real.
Wow, okay, that's going to be my new screen name. But is that when he presents the caged lion and is like tasing BB Lion, and that lion is saved by Alphaba, and he becomes the cowardly lion because she never let him speak up for himself? Is that
correct?
That's Nicky Dick. Okay, good to know. I can picture the dude. He's very spooky. We don't like him, but I didn't know his name was Nicky Dick.
Nicky Dick. Yeah, it's spelled Nikiddik. Like, I guess that's how. Yeah, Nicky Dick.
I hate that.
Okay. Okay. Question number 3.
So you take a shot for that, right?
I did take my shot.
What?
Okay, good.
Are you actually honoring this shot code, Robert? I'm not hearing any gulping, any.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay. Hold on.
Every time you take your shot, you have to shout Nicky Dick.
Did you hear those gulps?
Till the day you die.
Did you hear
Until the
those
day you
gulps? I hope.
Do it again.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
do another one.
Hold on. I need to refill this drink because I have a feeling.
What are you drinking, Robert?
This is a winter margarita from Silver Lining Cocktails, who we love and
We love that
stand.
journey. We do stand.
All right. Question number 3. This is from the musical Chicago.
Oh gosh. Okay, Layla, if you know this, help me.
Yes, Annie, I'm ready.
You can't help.
Why? Wait, let him
Because
see.
Please, I get a phone
you're not
brand.
drinking.
First of all, I don't know if you just heard, but I opened my fridge and I closed it, and I have a margarita in my hand. So,
Beautiful. Okay.
There we go.
Perfect.
so shut your mouth. Now, secondly, I do believe that you will get this correct, but if you don't, what a redemption story on my part. Now, go ahead.
Truly. Oh my gosh. Be the hero. I need.
In the musical number, The Cell Block Tango, the ladies are singing the details about murders that sent them to jail. one of the girls sings pop. Why does she kill her husband? Bonus if you can say how.
Oh my gosh. You know, because he was popping his gum. We hate him popping his gum.
Yeah.
Said, if you pop that gum one more time, and he did. Oh gosh. Okay, it'll help. Is this where?
Come on, you got it.
Okay.
Wait, I thought that was the answer. What was the second
No,
part of the
he's
question?
gotta say
she
how.
killed him.
Oh.
Is that the one where? Wait. Did she take the shotgun off the wall and fire 2 warning shots?
Yeah, into his head.
Into
His head.
Okay, I'm drinking.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was carving the chicken or whatever, and he ran into the knife, or if it was shotgun.
He ran into my knife 10 times.
Like, truly brilliant. Truly.
Let's see. Question number 4. This is from the musical Waitress. And I'm sure you'll get this. So I might as well just start drinking. What are the 3 main ingredients of Jenna Hunterson's delicious pies? And you have to sing it.
Oh. Okay, that's a hate crime. You're gonna lose so much.
That's a hate crime.
Listenership. Because it's sugar, butter, like sugar, butter, flour. That flour is a shout out to Inappropriate Patty on Instagram, who has an incredible Patty LuPone impression, and he does Waitress as done by Patty LuPone, and his sugar, butter, flour is truly next level. So
that was, I mean, your impersonation of that was truly next level.
Do you know Inappropriate Patty?
No, I don't. I'm going to look it up as soon as we're done.
Robert, do it.
Have I not been living life to the fullest?
I mean, you are 4 shots in, so you are living full, my friend.
I have to work at 6:00 in the morning, so this is going to be great.
Is this, like, if you die tonight, is that manslaughter? Like, have I done this? Am I responsible?
No, I'm responsible. I should have made the questions harder, but like, here's the thing. Like, I was.
He had no faith in you. It seems like.
No. It's not that I didn't have faith in you.
I was going to say, sorry. I just like to spill the tea and,
it's not that I didn't have faith in you. Pot. It's that
tea.
These questions, like when I was like researching, and a couple of these questions I made on my own, but like they're either really easy or really super fucking hard. And like, I was like, I don't want to do really super hard questions. And like, you honestly not even have a chance to do well. Like I wanted you to thrive.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, Robert, you're so good to me. The one thing that I regret.
You guys with some ASMR real quick.
Oh, something just opened.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
That was a really nice experience. People pay big money for that.
Immersive.
TipTea.
Question number 5. This is from the musical Oklahoma. What does I've never seen Oklahoma, so forgive me if I butcher this name. Is it Judd or Jude? Or
Judd.
Judd
Poor
Fry.
Judd Fry. Poor Judd Fry's dead. Mm-hmm.
What does Judd Fry have on the walls of the smokehouse?
They're like, well, okay, actually, I want to ask Layla what she thinks he has on the walls.
Okay. Just what in general, I'm literally just guessing based off the name.
And honestly, my biggest regret is that I didn't have you guessing these answers at the beginning, but no,
yeah, I think it would have been really funny.
Oh, we should. No. Okay. I still have a couple more questions, so we're good.
Okay, good. I'm happy to jump in on some of these. Okay, Oklahoma. I don't know. I'm just going to assume some sort of dead animal carcass as a trophy.
No.
Okay. It's okay, so they're like, it's like dirty photos, and like I think they're like it's like women. It's photos of like scantily clad, if not naked women, and maybe they're playing cards.
No,
but like I know that it's like
you
dirty
got
photos.
It's naked pictures. Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
Jeff Fry.
Woo, girl. She's just racking
Robert,
them up.
do you have a wall? Do you have a wall of naked photos?
No, but I
Here's
have
a camera roll.
Don't read me like that. Read me for belt. Look,
The tea has been tipped. The tea has been
there
tipped.
may or may not be a section in my phone of hidden photos. Like,
Is there really?
Why you shook at that?
Like,
Do you not have
keep-
one?
do you
No, I
mean?
do not keep Doherty photos on my phone because I'm so horrified that it will not go well.
of
Where do
myself,
you-
like these are of myself.
I mean, where do you keep your photos?
So when you take a photo, do you not know this? Like, oh, okay. So if you take a photo and you like, let's say, you go in the settings, you can set your photo to go be in a hidden thing. So like on your camera roll, when people are scrolling on your pictures, your dirty pictures aren't going to show up because they're in a hidden photo section.
What the hell? Layla, do you know this?
Henny, I'm the queen of this.
I will. I will. I'll show you next time I see
Oh my
you.
God.
I'll show.
Wow. I feel like baby's
You
first
haven't been-
iPhone. Like, how have I not done? Like, what the hell?
But see, I could totally see like a horrible tragedy happening to you, and then like your nudes get like
Don't
released.
put them-
So I
Robert, I have never taken a nude. I'm a man of God.
Oh.
a Christian woman.
I'm a Christian. I live across the street from a church. So God
Literally.
and I talk super often because he wakes me up every single day.
Bright and early.
Oh my God, not about it. Jesus. As if 8 years of Catholic school did not harm me enough.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
How many years?
I have to open another bottle.
I was gonna say, are you ready to talk
How
about
many
it?
years
God.
of Catholic school?
TipTea takes a turn. This is theater / coming to reality with one's like Christian upbringing. I went from like first grade to 8th grade. I was in a Catholic school. It was
I
like
didn't know
relatively
that.
normal, except I got a chastity card, which I still have.
I did see that.
and- oh, it's incredible. I really want to like carry it around with me and use it at bars and be like, I'm a man of God.
Yeah, you should. You should definitely like when they card you, you pull that out first and go, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
you know,
Here's
if
my-
it was me and you did that, I would take your card and I would light it on fire.
How? Okay, if you touch my chastity card, it might go up in flames.
Yeah, seriously, if Robert
How
touches
dare-
it.
Yeah. It would,
Okay, fuck both of you.
it would fail to exist. Oh my God. You know, I like had this whole joke in my mind where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put it in my wallet. And if anyone hits on me at a bar, like if someone hits on me at a bar, I'm going to show them my chastity card because that would be so funny. But then I was like, wait, that would require someone to hit on me at a bar.
Oh, well, I was going to say, why don't you just Uno reverse card them then?
Oh, just kind of be like, crap. Here's a card.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't looking for my chastity card?
Question number 6. This is from, you've seen Spring Awakening, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I almost texted you asking you if you saw this, but I'm like, he has to know.
They just did a production on Broadway, a revival that was like half the cast was deaf, and so it was like American Sign Language. It was super cool.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
Really
that's pretty badass.
Come on, accessibility.
Okay, before I say this question, you just reminded me. So, like, I think the coolest fucking thing is fucking sign language. And so, like, okay, I've been to Lollapalooza like X amount of times in Chicago. And
Interesting segue. Go on.
the coolest thing is
They have been to a music festival. Let's talk about deaf people and how they sign.
these people that do sign language for these concerts, girl, they are so badass.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm like, I fucking want to do that. Like, and then like the best thing is like when they're doing sign language and like the band or performer like notices them doing, then they're like, shout out to the sign language person, like, bitch, you're bad. I'm like, oh, like, I love it. I love to see it. Anyway, question number 6. The song The Bitch of Living describes what sexual act?
Oh, like in general, they only talk about one sex act in it.
I mean, I think like the big theme, yeah, like there's one.
But it's masturbation because he what is it? Take the like silver magic and aim it at the wall or something, right?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot to ask Layla. Layla, what do you think it is? That's
Well, I was gonna say some form of fellatio.
Because you're a whore.
Sir, calm down.
Sir, ma'am,
Ma'am, you've got to calm down.
ma'am, have a seat. Question number 7 is from the musical My Fair Lady. When My Fair Lady first opened on Broadway, who played the character of Eliza?
Oh my gosh. Okay. All eyes on you, Layla. I know the answer, but take it away.
God damn. I should have made these fucking harder. Fuck you.
What are you talking about? Harder? I mean, yes, he's doing great, but I have no idea what they are. Okay, so can I have one context clue? What year was it?
Oh, shit.
It was, oh gosh, 19. I'm going to be so upset if I get this wrong. 1957?
Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. And if you get it wrong, you're drinking.
Okay. What? No, I think it won the Tony in 1957.
Well, okay. Hold on.
Because it may have opened 56 if it won the Tony in 57. Because.
Okay, so what's your final answer?
For the year. Well, the problem is it won the Tony. I'm going to guess. Oh, shit. Okay. 1950. Yes. Okay. I'm going to say it won the Tony in 1957. That's not the year it opened, but I'm going to guess the Tony because I think 1958 was Music Man.
I really dislike you.
I have a problem, Roberto.
I really should have made these questions harder. And I'm really disappointed in myself.
I'll give you a hint on our leading lady here.
Okay.
She also is like around, oh my gosh, I found out the other day that it was like when she was my age, and this makes me sick. But when she was in her late 20s, she starred in the movie Mary Poppins.
Late 20s. But she wasn't Mary Poppins.
Well, she was Mary Poppins.
Oh, she was?
She was like 28 ish. She was somewhere in her 20s when she played Mary Poppins in the movie. Do you know who Mary Poppins is? Yeah.
Oh.
She's the original Liza.
Is she? Because I definitely Googled it while we were talking about it and it said Audrey Hepburn.
Well, Audrey Hepburn was in the movie.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, I promise I won't cheat. I was like so confident because I was like, wait, because you were saying you were giving me that lovely like lead in, and I was just like, wait a minute, Audrey Hepburn was not in that movie.
I really threw
Question.
No, that's big drama. That's big drama because Julie is a true goddess. Julie, who has never won a Tony Award, even though she was in My Fair Lady and like has been in all these shows on Broadway, but she's never won a Tony because the only time she was probably going to win for Victoria, and she rescinded her nomination.
Why did she do that?
Bad bitch, because she thought that the show got snubbed and her co-stars and the show deserved more nominations and credit, and she thought that it was like wrong that they didn't.
I'm going to have a drink for Julie.
turned down the nomination where she was probably going to win.
Stand a queen that, also, it's not all about her. All right. So we like
Exactly.
that. But also, I had no idea that, all this, faux drama was going on in the background. Like, she is the Leonardo DiCaprio of the Tonys.
Hundo P. We need to get that
But
lady a Tony Award.
has Leo still not won anything?
No, he won for The Revenant.
He won.
Okay,
So if we were talking movies, guys, I would school you all.
But we're
I'm
not.
trash at movies.
This isn't TipTea does movies.
Do that next week.
Okay, I think this is the last question.
Please be something Fiddler on the Roof related.
Oh, I could come up with something Fiddler in the Roof.
Just make up a name.
Just off the top of your head, you're like, oh, I'm good. I'm ready.
In
Professor
what
Nicky Dick was the
Broadway
what was
musical
Nicky Dick.
Silence class. Silence.
Sorry.
In what Broadway musical was the song Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas introduced?
Oh, introduced?
Uh-huh. This is a hard one, but
That feels like trickery. It feels like there could be some trickery afoot here because Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is Irving Berlin, right? So I know it's White Christmas it's in that, but I also know that it's in oh gosh, I know that it's in kind of cracker.
I don't think you know this. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
So because if you get
White
this
Christmas?
wrong, is that your final answer?
Layla,
But
Layla, help.
before we say this, John, if you get this wrong, you have to drink your whole drink.
Okay.
Hold please.
It's like, sure.
Hold my drink.
Holiday Inn. I know it's in Holiday Inn. I know it's in White Christmas, which is semi-recent. You would think that White Christmas, the musical, would be older, but it's not as old as you would think. Okay, I truly have no clue, so I'm just going to say White Christmas, and I'll finish my drink if I'm wrong. I'm going to be really annoyed.
It's wrong.
What is it?
The answer is, and you're going to hit yourself, is Meet Me in St. Louis.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay.
That was a good question, wasn't it?
That was a great question to end with. I like that.
Girl,
that was some real trickery.
I'm good. I got one question. And guess what? I'm gonna take a drink too because
Okay, I have a question while we're just kikiing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone who is still a novice but lover of musical theater, what are your top 3 that I should watch now?
Oh my Lord. Okay, John,
I'll take them from both of you, but I would absolutely love to know what's next on my itinerary.
Wait. Before we answer this, so what have you seen?
Okay, not a lot, so we'll make it really quick for you.
Okay.
The Producers, which I love.
Okay.
Annie, that's why I mentioned that earlier. I saw that at the Muni as a kid and I loved it. What else? Oh, I love Fiddler on the Roof. I love The Sound of Music. I love the classics that I basically was introduced to as a child via the library, whatever was available there.
I wish you would have seen The Fiddler on the Roof. The last time it came to the Fox, it was I can't describe to you how fucking good it was. It was like a chef's kiss. It was.
I would have been all over that. Also, Chicago, I've seen in London. I saw that for Valentine's Day back in the day too. That was really good.
What? Is there a story there that you saw Chicago and London about? That feels very wow. There's a lot.
It was just we were. Yeah. It's not that exciting. It was just we were studying abroad and. I went to a liberal arts school and all these people that I were with were we're single. Let's go do something fun and gay. And I was like, absolutely, let's do it. And so we went and saw Chicago and we were all each other's dates and it was fabulous.
I love that.
Yeah. And I was I actually know these songs. So this is going to be so enjoyable. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've seen.
Chicago was my first Broadway show ever.
Chicago was my first Fox show ever.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh,
Chicago is so relevant to all three of us. This is really cute.
I
love
lost
that.
my virginity at the Chicago.
Okay.
At Chicago.
At Chicago.
On stage, center stage, during Chicago. Not allowed back in New York, but it was worth that.
In my trench coat because I had to go pee and
Oh my gosh. Full circle. Oh, we love when a joke comes back around.
So to be honest, I haven't seen The Producers.
Oh, it's nice.
Not even the movie?
Not even the
Nathan
movie.
Lane, hello.
We could
Robert,
watch
I feel
it.
like you need to take a shot. Like I feel
Because
like
of that?
you have to be punished for that. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Fucking Uma Thurman's in it. Fucking Will Ferrell's in it in the movie.
Wait, my
Yeah.
baby girl is
He's
in
a
that
Nazi.
movie?
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay.
Wait, Uma Thurman's your baby girl?
I wouldn't call her a baby girl. She's a grown woman.
No, she's my baby girl. Like, I'm Black Mamba. Okay.
Oh, okay. Fair.
I was motherfucking Black Mamba. Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, that's my boo. That's like, yeah. But okay, I need to watch that. So hold on, let me refill my drink because I drank.
Uma Thurman, who was on Broadway a couple of years ago in a show. She was
What
The
show was that?
Parisian Woman.
Okay, that's what it
It was
was.
a random play by the guy who wrote House of Cards. Not
Did you go see it?
I did, May. I was a mere plebeian, so I had no Monty. I was living in New York and like
You were
working all
still
the
a
time,
cappy.
crying. I was still a cappy.
Okay, so you go first, John, and telling her your 3 that you recommend going to see.
Okay. So in this fictional world, all these things are still running and accessible, and you can see anything. One of my like favorite shows of all time, and maybe just like hit at the right place at the right time, is Kinky Boots.
Okay. Yup.
Okay.
I've seen the
movie. I've seen the movie, so I know about it, but yes.
Question.
Okay.
Did you see that in New York?
I sure did.
Okay, and who was Lola?
So I saw it a couple times in New York because I was obsessed with it. But I did get to see it when Billy Porter. So Billy Porter and
fuck
Sparks
you!
Fang-
Get the fuck out of my life! Oh,
they went.
God.
So I saw it when they went back into the show because they had left the show, and then right before it closed, they went back into it. And before I moved from New York to St. Louis, I was like, "This is all I want in the world." So I went, and like when it first started, I was like, "Oh, this will be good." Like I love this show so much, and then Billy Porter is just truly a god. Like he is incredible. Like holding your heart, so good. He is perfect.
I have major FOMO. I'm upset.
I'm sorry. I'll reenact it. I actually want to do that.
So Lola was the drag queen, which that could be me, and then you could be who's Charlie.
Honestly, I feel like I am Charlie because
you
he's
are
just
really
a boring
Charlie.
white man.
So
he's just a boring white man, and I'm a very boring white man.
Want me to bring over my sequins boots that I have, and like you could try those on? Although what size shoe do you wear?
Like 10.5, 11.
Okay, yeah, you won't. Your big ass. Big feet won't fit my delicate woman size 9 feet.
Oh my god.
I'll just like take off a couple toes of the heel, just like in Into the Woods.
We'll just bind your feet.
Bind my feet. Oh.
Okay, so Kinky Boots.
Okay, so Kinky Boots. So, Layla, you've seen the movie where it's like no singing?
The one that was like done in London, and I can't remember who the actor was.
But was it like the musical?
I think there were songs. Like I think there were like performances.
Yeah. Okay. So that maybe is the one.
But
I
loved
just love
it
it.
from
It's
the
so
beginning.
happy.
I thought it was like right up my alley. So I think that's
Oh
a
my
great.
gosh, it's so razzle dazzle, and like truly the one that I saw the first time I saw it in New York. I like this little dude, like at the beginning, baby Lola comes out in his like
Oh,
little pumps and is just
yes.
rocking the stage. And I was like, okay, you're my hero. That's why I fell in love with it. I could not understand a word he said, but I loved it nonetheless.
Did you know that was me, actually?
Oh my gosh, you were baby Lola?
I was baby. Yeah. You didn't know that, but that
Oh my
was
gosh.
me.
I should have known. I should have felt it in my heart.
That little black child, that was me.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're totally giving me that old lady from Game of Thrones vibes, but where it's like, tell Cersei it was me. That's what I was imagining. It was me.
Please tell me you see the Stacey Abrams meme
100%.
where she is like, tell that was me. Yeah, so I was like, yes!
That's why I love the internet, for memes like that.
Okay, kinky boots. What else?
Okay, so I'll say like, I will always put like, I love West Side Story in there, because I feel like it is such a dream team of people, like Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim, and all these great people are coming together. So I love me some West Side Story, even though she is super depressing. And then I don't know. I love Sondheim, so maybe like Into the Woods is like a big one for me. Because it is so clever. That was a show, Into the Woods. Like, I think when I was in high school and very in the closet, I was like, I hate musicals. They're super dumb and everything's very like fake and happy. And then I saw Into the Woods. And I'm like, oh my gosh, musicals can be intelligent. So like, honestly, Into the Woods was the first show that made me like musical theater. And here we are. So I'll put Into the Woods up there. Into the Woods turned me so gay. Oh
side.
So those Westboro Baptist Church people are protesting the wrong shit.
Oh my god!
They should be outside of the theaters.
Oh my gosh! I've had Westboro
Just kidding.
Baptist
I'm not
Church.
inviting them anywhere.
I'm inviting them. They can come to my house. We can party.
Oh my god!
No, they've been outside my apartment for years now. I see them like cheese wedges and crackers.
That's why they all look like this skinny ass, like toothless Capitol like insurrectionists.
Exactly. Meth crackers. Meth crackers indeed.
This just makes me you saying that just makes me think we have mutual friends that went to high school together. Like, Destiny should have had us meet back in the day when we were in high school, because like we both were mutual friends with really good friends of ours. And I just would love to have met Straight John.
Okay, well, spoiler alert, Straight John was not straight.
I just feel like I would have shook you to the fucking core.
That's the thing is I'm curious how we would get along, because I would be nervous that I would be so in the closet that I'd be like nervous, like scared.
That I'd clock you. I'd say, hey.
Yes, of course you would clock me.
Hey.
Because I was a gay man in theater who was saying, I'm not gay. I've always been a bad actor. It's not my strength. So
it would be like, well, if you were out, but you weren't. But like, have you seen the thing on TikTok where it's the people and they go, are you liberal? Are you liberal?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. It would have been like that, except you would have said no.
You'd have been like, okay.
Gay? What's that? No, man. Yeah. No, I was in marching band and I was in theater and I was the gayest thing that ever walked the earth. But I was like, gay? I don't know her. We've never met.
She doesn't exist.
Don't know what that is.
Okay.
Gay as in Mary, like at Christmas.
Let's see. If I had to pick 3 shows that you needed to see, I don't know. This is just going to be like my preference of like what I like.
First.
Yeah, but that doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what you like. Okay, so I would say definitely because, and I'm biased because I have a fucking tattoo on my leg of the show, but definitely Hades Town was like such a good fucking show. It's like Greek mythology and like a love story and like jazz sounding music. So you'd be about it. You'd like it.
So cool.
My second choice would be Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Oh, yes, Hanny.
Yeah.
You would see that?
You would gag because like all of the, and I only include this on this list because like while it's not really like a musical, the on stage effects, like the magic of the show is like I can't even describe it. It's like it's next level.
It's truly the coolest stage. Like, and that's like not to be super eye-rolly cringy, but theater can be so magical. And I feel like when I was watching Cursed Child, like that design, the design of that show is like, these people are brilliant. Like they have
brilliant
found a way to make magic real in a way that like I still not over it. I think about like truly the light and design of that show constantly. Magic.
I hope they go on
Eat
tour.
your heart out, Harry Potter. Oh, I hope so.
Do you think they'll
based out of New York, right?
It's in New York. It's in London, and I think
Australia.
I want to say
in San Francisco.
Yes, I was just going to say, like, weren't they doing something in California too? Yeah,
they're in New York and London and San Francisco and Australia. But I don't
all the places I'm not. Got it.
What house are you, Layla?
You know, I'd like to think that I'm a Gryffindor, but who knows?
You know, I think that if the Sorting Hat were to put his body on top of my head.
Okay, what a weird way to say that, but okay.
I feel weird about that. Okay.
I know, I'm like, all right, are you making this weird on purpose? Okay, go
No,
on.
I didn't mean to. That's the margarita talking.
Yeah, I know. I feel that.
That's the margarita talking.
Very Nicky Dick of you, but sure.
Nicky Dick. If Dr. Nicky Dick were to put himself...
It's Dr. Nicky Dick to you.
Dr. Nicky
Every reservation at a restaurant now. Dr. Nicky Dick.
Yeah, hi. I will only be Dr. Nicky Dick from here on out.
So if the Sorting Hat were to place his body on top of my head... and and sort me, he would say Slytherin.
For you?
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
He would say Slytherin for me.
Not Slytherin.
And I would definitely do a Harry Potter where I'm like, no, please put me in Gryffindor. And then he would put me in
Slytherin, eh? You could be great, you know.
Whoa, that was really good.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Show off.
Robert, mad that the spotlight is on.
I'm kidding. And then John, you're Ravenclaw, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very boring and care a lot about my resume.
But I could see you being a Hufflepuff too.
I'm honestly kind of flattered by that because I feel like the Hufflepuff is like who you want in your life. Like a Hufflepuff is always going to be your ride and die. They're going to like be there for you. They care. They love. So I'd love to be a Hufflepuff, but I am a Ravenclaw to my core.
You are a Ravenclaw. And then my last choice, Hades Town, Harry Potter. I'm going to just say this just because it's nostalgic. And have you ever seen Phantom of the Opera?
I have not.
Okay, I mean, I would just put that on the list just because, like, you just need to experience it, and the set design is. Mwah.
Okay.
If you've ever wanted to be kidnapped by a phantom and taken into the underworld, like, you're gonna love this show.
I want to be Christine. Like, I want somebody to abduct me and.
Okay, you should be careful what you put into the universe because
Manifestation is real, bitch. Careful.
Yeah. Okay, and Robert lives at 4234.
No, I've been watching a lot of Night Stalker, so be careful what you wish for.
Oh my gosh, I just started that. Spooky.
So good. So good.
Wait. What is this?
Night Stalker on Netflix. It's a documentary about Rick Ramirez in LA.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. I have to watch
graphic.
that.
Very graphic. A lot of people thought they went too far, but I was like, no, give me more.
I want more.
Yeah.
That's very Army Hammer of you.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Topical and hilarious.
Okay, we're gonna go there.
Okay, let's go. You know what? Let's go there.
Here's the thing.
I reach for my second cocktail, by the way.
I think it's kind of romantic if somebody were to say, I'm gonna take your toe and put it in my pocket. Like, love it.
Okay, that's Robert. Blink twice if you need help. So, Robert invited me to do a PowerPoint party, and I had this idea.
Yes,
and I was really excited for this idea, and I feel like I'm spoiling it now. But one of my thoughts, I think I know what my topic is, but one of my ideas was why I would let Army Hammer eat me.
Oh my God, yes.
And it would be looking at, like, kind of doing a little analysis of his different looks and what part of my body I would let him eat in exchange for that look.
Oh my God.
So
he could eat this ass. Right away. He could eat this ass. I was just reading all the text messages of that, and I was just thinking, like, okay, I've definitely been in situations where, you're horny, you're talking, and, like, you just go with the flow in terms of, like, okay, if somebody were to say, like, call me daddy, and you're just like, okay, like, yeah, like, oh yeah, like daddy, but like,
Robert, there's a difference between call me daddy and I'm gonna suck the blood out of your throat and eat your heart.
No. But
Robert, Robert, how do you
going with the flow and leading the flow?
Wait. You guys aren't giving me a chance. Like,
oh, okay. Like, we should give him a chance. Go on.
Wait. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, no. My thing is, like, intertwined with the cannibalism was this, like, I own you, like, call me daddy, like, you're my slave, like, this sense of control. And, like, I'm just saying, like, I get how when you're, like, super turned on, you just say whatever the fuck you want. But then, like, how does that turn into, I want to suck your blood. I want to cut off your toe and put it in my pocket.
Right. Like, what?
Hold on. Let me pull up.
But I'm actually reading some of these, and I'm understanding your point where he says, you just live to obey and be my slave.
Okay.
Like,
see,
I will.
No, because that's okay.
I'm along for the ride. Sure.
Because that's like some 50 Shades of Grey. Like, we love this, like, Dom.
Yes. Like, okay.
Absolutely.
Ooh, yeah. Like, oh, he's kinky. Oh, yeah. Like, okay. Yes.
But there's a line.
But then
there is a line. Exactly.
No.
There's a line between I'm your daddy and I'm your daddy who's going to cut off your toes and eat them. Like, there is a line.
Yeah, personally, I think SNL should do a skit on this because this is hilarious.
Yeah,
okay, let's read some of this stuff.
But I would give up a pinky toe for Army Hammer of, like, okay, but, like, think about the Army Hammers that you would give up a body part for.
I'm looking at a picture of him and I'm like, I get it.
but also like then I'm reminded of Ted Bundy being like, slightly
Really
hot.
good looking. Yes.
True.
Yeah, and fully charming. So I'm like,
Okay, I'm gonna read
and
this
he
stuff.
also played the Winklevoss twins in The Social Network, and I thought he was fine then. So
Okay, here we go.
So he could get 2 toes out of that one.
you
Army Hammer. I'm reading this transcript. Oh my God, that just made me so hard, and it makes me confused as to why. Is that even possible? So hard. Thinking of holding your heart in my hand and controlling when it beats. I am 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. Fuck. That's scary to admit, B. I've never admitted that before. I've cut the heart out of a living animal before and eaten it while still warm. Okay.
Okay, that's literal psychopath. Like
here's
that is psychopath.
Here's my first follow-up question as somebody who is obsessed with learning about serial killers and their psyche. How old were you when you cut up this animal?
So did you see
the development age?
Did you see on his Instagram when he posted, like, this was 2015, 2017, he posted like this picture of like a butchered pig's head? And that was like 2015. And then in 2017, he posted like this picture of like this butcher knife looking thing. So, I mean, I feel like this is like something that he's like subtly putting in our faces. Like, yes,
Robert, it's not subtle. He literally said, "I'm a cannibal."
Wait,
there's a moment where he goes,
but it was subtle at
I want to like
2015.
eat your heart. There's something where like when he's like, "Oh, I want to make your heart beat," where like I'm gonna hold it in my hands and make it beat. Where I was like, that's weird, but maybe cute. And then the next line is, I'm a cannibal. I'm literally a cannibal.
No, but what I'm saying is like the pig and the butcher knife, like that was 2015, 2017. Like that's like subtly like putting your interest out. But like
There's
this is
some red
just
flags there.
here. Just imagine being on Grindr and like talking to somebody and then like saying like,
if I had a damn nickel for every
thinking of holding your heart, here's my follow-up question. How many bottoms on Grindr are putting, I want you to eat my ass out like Army Hammer?
Not enough, probably.
Or how many are quoting the lyrics from the hit Kesha song Cannibal? Because that's all I think of, where she's like, I am cannibal, cannibal. Like, is he also dancing around his room like naked with that knife? Just like, I don't know. I'm getting a really weird, like, Goodbye Horses. Like when, what movie was it? It was like, Goodbye Horses. And he's like, oh, Silence of the Lambs, right? When the guy's like dancing back, he's like, would you fuck me? I'd fuck you.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs. Oh, best
because that's,
movie.
Oh my gosh, what's his name? With the
Hannibal Lecter.
Who puts the lotion on the skin.
No, it's not Hannibal Lecter.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. Thank you.
Come on,
Puts the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna do
the vibe I'm getting from him.
I'm gonna do my Clarice Starling impersonation. Hold on.
Okay.
Dr. Lecter. Dr. Lecter. Was that good?
Are you trying to Jodie Foster some behavior?
Yes.
Okay.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
Jodie, is that you? Jodie, are you here?
Jodie, are you here with us?
What?
Stay on.
Okay, hold on. I found another one. You're my angel. You're made to save me. You're mine. You hear me? Say it now. Hold on, and then I'll be the. I am yours. I belong to you. Say that you're mine. 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 I own you now. I'll own you forever. I do. I am yours, Daddy. Good girl. Your body is so fucking perfect and it's mine and I'm into you. Okay. Up until this point, like,
that feels okay.
This is like really like, okay, he's really dominating. Have I responded to these? Yes. Like, I'm not going to deny, like, this is okay. It's not normal necessarily, but when you're super turned on, like, yeah, like I will entertain this. Okay, this is when it switches gears. He said, "Good girl, your body is so fucking perfect and it's mine and I'm into you." Which at that point I'm thinking like, oh, like, thank you. Like, so fucking perfect.
Like,
thank you.
It's like, romance.
Then he says, "I need your blood. I crave it." Okay, so we like really switch gears. Like,
Right. Like, how do we go from one to the other?
will you give
That
it to me
really-
tomorrow? Don't forget that you're mine. And then
I
she
just had a
says,
thought.
that topic, once again, it is very intense. And then he goes,
Oh my God.
I'm intense. I need your blood. I want you to feed me with it. Girl.
So here's what I'm kind of like referencing this back to. Remember when Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie were wearing each other's styles? Do we think that they were on that level?
She said something once, and I forget the quote. You may need to look it up. She said something fucked up like that. Like,
I want to put your toe in my pocket.
no.
No, honey, unfortunately, that was only one man.
Angelina, hold on, Jolie. I'm looking this
please
up.
look up the quote.
Billy, it was really fucked up. Hold on.
I just love how drastic the turn is, where he's like going from like playful dumb. I am I'm fiction that 40-year-old moms read and they're turned on because I'm domination. And then it so quickly turns to like, and then I'm going to cut off your toes and put them in a meat grinder and drink your blood. Like, really gives us stark contrast and horrifying.
I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared. Like, if somebody said that to me, I blocked.
But the thing is, I think I am so, in theory, I joke where I'm like, ha ha ha, Army Hammer could eat one of my toes. If I get my blood drawn, I pass out.
Guys,
I
found this.
I am the most squeamish baby man that, like, if someone mentions the word blood to me while we're sexting,
Which why would they in any other fucking context?
I would move out of the country and delete my phone,
block,
or delete my number, and
throw your phone in the toilet, and
I would live in the sea. I would become a merman.
Okay, I found the quote. On the vial of then husband's Billy Bob Thornton's blood, she once wore around her neck. That's what it was. She used to carry his blood around. Oh, okay. So it's my husband's blood, which is beautiful to me. You know, some people like diamonds around their necks or things like that. I think that's beautiful. And it just makes me, it's his life. Girl.
Yeah.
So are we thinking this is the same type of kink vibe that they shared? I mean,
blood is one thing. A toe is another thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you.
I would say it's towing the line. Ha, ha, ha.
I fucking hate you.
Fucking white guy up in here, all right?
I hate myself. I'm sorry. I have
That's
to go.
So
Let me ask you, are you a father yet? Because that was a dad joke.
No.
Oh my gosh. I'm ready. I'm trained and ready. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh.
Well,
I need a drink.
this has been an adventure.
I mean, all very closely related to Broadway and its resurgence, I'd say.
Well, can I bring one thing up that's like semi out of topic, but also in line with as ridiculous as Armie Hammer has been? Have either of you heard anything about Azalea Banks and boiling her cat in a ritualistic manner? Can we talk about it? What do you know?
And
let's discuss.
I'm going to be taboo. I think it's perfectly fine.
What?
Okay, that's a hot take, John.
Okay, I don't.
Wait. So
I've not heard anything about this, so I'm going to need some help.
Let's explain. Let me give the background story.
Please
so her cat died
in an unbiased way. Just the facts.
Her cat died, and this was maybe a year ago or something. And then recently, maybe last week, she posted a video of her taking her cat's remains and boiling them. And people were freaking out, which, granted, in my opinion, yes, that's a little fucked up and weird. However, people were, I think, taking it out of proportion. And I feel like Black people get judged, especially Black women get judged super harshly because, and she said it too, like, so the explanation for her boiling her cat and doing the bones is she's going to do some taxidermy stuff with it, which people do all the fucking time. Like, I don't think that that's something like, yes, it's weird. I would never do it. It's kind of fucked up. Like, I would never do that with my animals or whatever, but people do that all the fucking time. So I think
you boil the animal first before it's taxidermy.
Yeah, and like some chemicals and stuff to the bones.
Like she wanted to make earrings out of like the jawbone, which is
I feel like if you're Azalea Banks, can't you like pay someone and be like, make me earrings out of my cat
she's
bones?
kind of she's like a witchy person like that. Like I could, it's totally her shtick. Here's the thing though, like I just think that at the end of the day, people just look for something to just talk about. And like, yes, it was fucking weird, but it got blown up way out of proportion. And she had posted on her story afterwards, like, I just think it's really funny how, Catholic people go to church every Sunday and communion, where they take the blood and body of Christ and put it in their mouth. And like, that is, as spiritually, like you're eating the blood and body of Christ. Like she's like, so I just think it's funny how people just like to pick and choose like what weird shit is weird. And I think that that's a good point. Like I think it was weird. Yes, I would never do that with a cat and like, or my dogs. Like I would not fucking boil
a dog. Fair game.
But I just think it got blown way out of proportion.
I personally think that there is a little bit to be said about the way that she delivered her like concept and messaging was all over her stories on Instagram. That to me is like, at that point, it's like not even a passion anymore, or like something that's like holistically or however cathartic it is to you that you're like still part of your, this loved one, this animal. Like I can see many dimensions and layers. However, once you take it to social media and, and you make it a spectacle, which is what it became, like, what you were intending to happen. Because I would say this is not the norm. And to John's point, like she has money, like, so if she wanted to get it taxidermied or whatever, like that would be an interesting route. But at least some people might be like, oh, she didn't show her digging her cat up, or I don't know all the pictures that were surfaced, but the cat
she dug up her cat, and there was a video of that. Yes.
Wait, why was it buried if she knew she was going to like take
That's
earrings?
the thing. Like it's been buried
but
for a
maybe
while.
she wasn't planning on taxiderming it at the time, and then a year went by, and she's like, I want to taxidermy my cat.
Right. And there's a lot to be said about, I mean, I always like to, highlight on the mental illness card because I think it needs to be said, but sometimes like, people can act out in ways that, are either, Robert, I'm not trying to like use what you're saying like against you, but just in a way, like you said, she has this witchy vibe, aesthetic or whatever. I mean, I don't think the woman was sitting around thinking like, what's my next, witchy move or whatever. Like maybe she was obsessing over the loss of her pet, or like maybe she was feeling some type of way about it, but also to take it to such lengths of it being so out in the open. I mean, also, where is her management to tell her maybe this ain't the route? Maybe take it to Reddit where there's some weirdos.
She's kooky, yes. I just think that I don't know, and it just feels. Why do I feel like ashamed of saying this? I just feel like Black women get judged like even more harshly than like regular people, and like if it were a white woman, it would be like, this is fucked up and kooky, but it wouldn't have been like.
And like Gwyneth Paltrow with her pussy candles.
Yes. Like, I just think.
Kind of kooky, releasing a pussy smelling candle. This like
I just feel like because she's a Black woman, it got even more like, I don't know, judgmental. I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just presenting her side.
The facts. Right.
And
Fair.
I just think that if it was a white person, we would just be like, that's kind of fucked up, but it wouldn't have been as blown up as it was. I don't know. I feel bad for her.
Actually, I have a goldfish named Potato who just passed, and I have.
Are you
Thank you.
taxidermy?
And I have boiled.
I think they just boiled him. I boiled him and put him in my stripper heel, and now
he's in there forever. And
are you gonna wear him as a necklace?
Of positive feedback. Oh my gosh, no! I like. I will mount him on my shoulder sometimes. Like he could be on a hat, he could be an earring, he could be a necklace. I really want him to a brooch, a really lovely brooch. No, so I get it, but as a white gay man, I think people expect me to have taxidermy animals about my being. So it's been nice, actually.
Getting the mold. My question is, if you the thing is if you've ever seen a taxidermied animal, you know it's either good or bad by looking at the eyes. So
true.
I just hope your fish. I don't even know how they would do it, but his
eyes are wild.
I was just gonna say, Layla, when you die, I'm getting you taxidermy, and
bitch, put me in Madame Tussauds and let's play a joke on everyone. You know what I'm saying?
What outfit are you wearing? And because if I'm gonna do this, I'm putting you in your emo circa high school.
Absolutely.
Does that mean that you have to boil her first? Are you going to put her in a pot and boil her first before you come back to your work?
My bones with some heavy eyeliner and some scene hair.
Are you going to have Layla earrings? Is this my understanding of taxidermy now has entirely changed because of this? I'm changed for good and for bad.
Wait, can I tell you guys something?
Yes.
And I'm sharing.
You're really.
Group.
Go
it's
ahead.
a safe place, but obviously what we're talking about is very weird. So, once upon a time for Valentine's Day, I had an ex who got me. This is so fucking weird. He got me a cat in a jar from formaldehyde. It was like a cat fetus.
Excuse
that was
me?
Never born.
So what was your reaction?
What? Why? Did this fit into your vibe? Was he did it make sense that he got you this?
We were into, I have plenty of answers. So we were into the show Oddities. It was a show that was there was a shop based out of New York that had really fun, kooky stuff for people who are into the dark arts or whatever. But so we were really into that show because there was some weird shit on there. Either way, there happened to be a store on Cherokee Street back in the day, so a few years ago, when I still lived in St. Louis, and we walked in together. And he's like, "Oh my God, I don't even know how the exchange happened, but I at the time was fully okay with receiving this as a gift. Mind you, to make it even weirder, it was Valentine's Day, and so I received a Valentine's Day cat fetus in a jar. Now, what's even weirder is I never put it out on the shelf. Maybe that's normal, but I never proudly had it out and about.
Do you still have it?
No. At one point, I was I showed it to my parents, and they also thought I was fucking weird. And I was I know this is weird, right? But both my parents, a little background, were veterinarians. So it was not something that they had never seen before. And they thought it was from a scientific viewpoint. They're oh, this is interesting. But they were also this is also fucking gross. And why do you have this? So I eventually got rid of it, but it felt I was disposing of I don't know. It just felt wrong on so many levels. I'm glad it's gone. But I also was what a weird Valentine's Day gift. So I just wanted to share that with you both.
Correct. That is a weird Valentine's Day gift. Did you name it though?
I think because it was an orange cat, a little orange cat. Oh, by the way, it still had its umbilical cord on, which
so nasty.
Here's the thing. It was really cute though. It was a baby kitten.
So Layla, if you were gonna eat a part of a human being's body, what would you eat?
I would suck on
someone's DM.
I wouldn't want to eat them or jar them up.
What would you eat, John?
Yeah, what would you eat, John? Since you're slightly
into the
Dead
army.
ass.
Okay.
Yeah, I
First
mean,
of all, that ass
Dead
does not
ass.
count because you're eating it, but you're not actually eating it.
the problem is, if I saw blood, I would pass out. I would die so quickly that, like, I truly, when people prick my finger, like, I die. Like, one time I went to a very nerdy camp in high school, and I was in like a forensics class, and we were like checking out like what blood type you were, and I about passed out when my finger got pricked. So, like, here's to hoping I never have diabetes, because I will die. I cannot, I can't do blood.
I just envision this. In my head, I can see this playing out, and it is beautiful. It is horrifying.
Wait,
but it is
which part?
beautiful.
Me as a cannibal.
No, no, not you as a cannibal eating ass. You
Going in for seconds and thirds.
You
Yeah.
being in a fucking forensic class, being horrified. Like,
Truly,
because
my
I just
goddamn
know
nightmare.
you so well, and
Oh my
that
God.
just
No, I'm a squeamish baby nightmare. Like, I can't do that. I think that I feel really safe. This feels like a safe place. So I feel like
I
can
mean,
tell
now
you
it
both.
definitely is. I told you one of my weirdest stories.
Which I also want to circle back to the idea of the fact that I want your parents both being vets. Like, that feels like the love story that I really need. That feels like a movie that I really want.
Oh, honey, you and I
So-
let's start the screenplay now because, I mean, hello, Bosnian refugees met at school at, veterinary school. I mean, we have a story to tell. Look out, Angelina
Oh my
Jolie,
gosh.
when her in the land of milk and honey. We have things to say.
Is it too soon to say eat your heart out, Angelina Jolie?
Wow, did we just get our next co-host? I mean, the just hits that keep on coming. I like it.
the dad jokes.
Oh no, that was not a dad joke, honey. That was just as dark as I like it.
Thank you.
You like it Army Hammer dark.
No, honey, I don't want nobody fucking squeezing my heart.
What do I think? I'm trying to think of what I would eat. If
Wait,
I
in
had
what
to.
in what context? Where are we at right now?
You guys picked
Oh, body part.
body parts that we would eat.
But are we actually talking about body part? Like, are you actually saying you could, like, if you had to go through it? Because, like, I said I would.
If
never
somebody's
want to
holding
do
a
it, but I,
fucking
like,
gun to my head and like, bitch, you need to eat this, like, okay.
Oh, like Saw, like the show or the movie Saw.
Yes. Like,
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking for this, but if I had to, like, let
I'm
me
not
think.
actively seeking cannibalism, but, like, should it present itself in a forced nature, like, I will eat the second pinky, the finger on right hand, and earlobe too.
Here's the thing: I'm not a pro on anatomy, and
I'll eat a big toe.
I was gonna say Robert might have like a
Ew.
little bit more to shine here, but I'm just wondering how tough do you think it would be to eat through the weenus of an elbow?
Weird fact. I'm sorry. I do not
There's
mean
no
to
bone
take.
or ligament
Wait.
there.
I don't mean to take this away from you. This question.
Well, you did.
Wait.
So
Wait. Okay, so how hard do you think it would, or what was the question with the weenus?
How I was just gonna say because like you're picking like a toe or something, something that has like ligaments, bone. Like there's a lot to go through there if we're really talking about actually having to eat through that. So
Yeah.
my question is like from the anatomy perspective, like the weenus of an elbow, it's just all skin, right?
Yeah.
Or is the
The
weenus
weenus-
not the elbow skin? The weenus is like that.
No, the
bone.
weenus is that. I think it's the skin or the. I don't
think that's
maybe
actually the
right.
medical term.
I feel like
Okay.
I feel like
Hold
it's
on.
the skin on the
E.T.
elbow,
does.
though, right?
I don't think the weenus is a medical
It's the
term.
it's a
don't
loo-
they,
it's
like-
the it's a slang word for the
Scientifically.
excess loose skin on the joint.
Perfect. So that's what I would bite just because I feel like it
Because-
would be less painful. Where are the nerves? Where are the tendons? None
But
of
it's
that.
right on the LB. Like,
Okay.
man.
I know, but I'm not trying to
Weird.
enjoy it. I'm just trying to make it less painful and less scrumdiddly
I feel like-
for me.
I
Weird
feel like
fact.
an earlobe feels like if people get their ears pierced, I feel like earlobe feels pretty chill.
Oh, you think that my first answer was better? Earlobe?
Yeah, I feel like you would not be able to like move
Wait, is the
your...
person alive or dead when we're eating them?
Well, I'm
Oh
that
shit.
they're alive.
Oh, I was thinking they were dead.
Oh, in
That
what
changes my
context, Robert?
answer.
In what context?
I was
I feel like
thinking
this
that
whole
a
podcast is
person.
super incriminating.
I feel
Are
like
we
the
all going to
person.
prison?
I feel like the person is
Everything's off
dead.
the rails now. That's what we're gonna call our next segment.
I feel
Off the
like
rails.
somebody is holding a gun to my head and they're saying, look, like, I'm going to fucking shoot you if you don't eat something off this dead body. And I would be like, okay, hold up. Let me pick my body part of choice. And then I'm going to cook the shit and I'm going to eat it. It's not like I'm just eating this raw. Like,
You're talking Chef Boyardee right now?
yeah, like,
Okay, but like I will say, if we're looking at like Silence of the Lambs 2, when Ray Liotta's brain is being a little bit cooked up, like,
oh, that was
and
Hannibal.
he's cool with it. Everyone's cool. But okay, so it's Hannibal, but like it's the second in the series, right? Or is that the first one? But Ray Liotta is getting his brain served to folks, and like, you know, he's living his bliss. He's happy. He's feeling a little loopy.
I'm sure brain. I mean,
horrible.
once you cook it, it's like, you know, whatever. Like, season that shit, you'll be fine.
Wait, what's these things?
It's a shot. So,
Now, what balances out brain?
I have a question.
When we're
for you
eating our
guys.
human brain, we really love a little cumin.
You know,
Just
I
like-
love a little
just
bit
like
of cayenne pepper in
Chick-fil-A.
there, just for
Wait.
a little.
Oh my gosh!
I have a
little
question.
Chick-fil-A uses cumin. We really love it.
So, Layla mentioned weenus, and I have a question. Do you guys, can you lick your weenus? Because I can.
You can? Really?
Yes. Yes.
All right, hold on. Let me try.
Okay, hold on.
No, not a chance.
Yeah, I can lick my elbow.
I'm close to weenus, but I'm just not close enough.
Close, but no
Oh.
weenus.
I've heard that before. Close, but not close enough.
Close, but no weenus.
Put that on a t-shirt. That's our
I'm-
next merch.
I'm close,
Oh
but
my
not close enough.
Close, but no weenus. I want the hat. I want the cooking
the
mitt.
mug.
I want the like.
I want the
Everything.
mouse pad for my office.
I want
I
the
want it
mouse
all.
pad.
Ooh, she's getting drunk. Okay.
Close, but no weenus.
Oh, Hanny, I've been drunk. I've been drunk at this point.
I still have to take a bath tonight, guys. So we're in for a show.
I hope it's part of the show. I hope
I was gonna
this is.
say.
I'm in the
Is that
bathtub
the
right
next
now.
segment? Bubble,
He's in the
bubble
right now.
bios.
Could you imagine? The acoustics have been amazing.
That'll be next episode. TipTea does bubble bath.
Oh my god, it's just
Bubble
you
bios.
in like a fucking monologue for 2 hours.
Just talking about my-
your favorite.
But
Whatever.
it would have to include your defying gravity, obviously.
Let me just tell you that if you ever show anybody that video, I will murder you. I will murder me. And then, yeah, I'll just jump off your balcony and.
Bobby, baby, you're a star in Japan.
Bobby!
Right now. You are
Who's
Bob
Bobby?
Dodd. Bob Dodd.
Fucking Bob Dodd.
Okay.
Bob Dodd,
Well,
you are a star in half of the globe right now. You are trending in Malaysia right now.
Should we post it on
as
TikTok?
Alphabet,
Tea while you were at it.
Should we
Yeah, you
TikTok
got
it?
you on TikTok, like, eat your heart out, Bella Porch, if that is what your name is. Is that, you know, the girl who like has all those videos that has like tens of millions of views, and she literally just like bobbing her head, like, we're coming for you, using Robert. in the
Who's
bathtub.
the girl that goes,
Robert in the
okay? I love that
I have
bitch.
no idea, but I love
The
that.
black girl, you know, John.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. She's brilliant.
Okay,
She is
like
beauty. She is grace.
I love her.
Yeah, I think we need to give shout outs here, you guys. We'll tag them in like the notes or something. They deserve recognition.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe next week is TikTok.
TipTea does TikTok. Oh, that's
Robert,
a good
why
one.
haven't we thought of that? We just reach out to a bunch of different creators.
Do you just want to join our show? Like,
Yeah,
we could use a third.
What's your availability?
What? You free next week?
If it's
very open.
I was going to say, if it's on the fly, that works.
I work in theater, so I'm very available.
Perfect. We'll have you on next week.
Oh my gosh, I'm ready.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today about theater.
This is awesome.
About Armie Hammer.
About Azalea Banks.
About Azalea Banks.
Love it.
About
we went on a journey.
About eating ass. We love it. We love to see it.
Robert, when you do this write up for the episode, I want all these bullet points.
We talk about theater. We talk about accessibility and diversity. Armie Hammer.
Cannibalism.
Love it.
I'm just saying, that would attract me to the episode.
Well, John, is there anything that you want to promote or,
I will say that I'm really excited about how well we've kept to the script of like, we knew we would be discussing theater and accessibility and cannibalism and boiling cats. So like, I'm really impressed by how well we like stayed on the topic there. But in terms of, things that I will give a shout out to, as someone who works in theater and Broadway, I am obviously want to give a shout out to like organizations like Broadway Advocacy Coalition that are working super hard to, shine light on the ways that the theater community in Broadway can grow. There have been so many different organizations and communities that have really sprung up and have been really freaking incredible. And so I think there's a lot of work that Broadway can do and theater in general can do. So, I honestly feel awkward being a white cis gay man speaking on theater. But it's time for me to shut up a bit and let other people speak. So Broadway Advocacy Coalition, a lot of groups are doing incredible work, and also a lot of actors and performers and designers and artists are hurting right now. So the Actors Fund is doing truly, truly incredible work to help so many people. They've raised millions and millions and millions of dollars, including a Ratatouille musical.
I saw that.
People. How did we not talk about that?
Truly, like, I don't know how we skipped Ratatouille the musical.
Ratatouille. Wait, how does it go? God damn.
Ratatouille, the
Yes. Oh,
really
fully here. So good.
Yeah, and the show, incredible. And
not watch it yet. Can you tell us how we can see it?
Well, my friend,
it was on TikTok. I don't think it's on anymore. It was like an event.
I don't know where it is accessible. Yeah.
Somebody must have grabbed it, honestly.
But if you are, I'm sure it's somewhere, but on TikTok, you can see kind of the videos that that it was made up of. And TikTok creators are freaking incredible. These people are brilliant. And so this whole thing was based on these TikTok creations. But they also raised by doing this TikTok musical, they raised $2 million, 2.1 maybe, for out of work artists in Broadway and in theater in general. So the Actors Fund is truly incredible. And, Seth Rudetsky and all these people that are helping to support it. So they're on Instagram. If you're feeling, very kind and generous, feel free to give to the Actors Fund or to your local artist support, because this has been a really rough time for the arts and theater artists and everyone. So pay it forward.
Well, I think I speak for everybody when I say that I cannot wait for theater to be back again and being sloppy at the Fox.
I
So
was gonna say I haven't been there in a while, so I would love to connect.
yeah, I will take you. I'll
I
take you
always
to
say
the show,
this every
girl.
episode, but I'm like, Robert, take me to the
Gary,
next show. But I
I'll
mean, we
take
gotta
you.
hang out. All three of us gotta get together.
I'll take you, girl.
Come hang.
Um,
Yeah. Robert will be in his trench coat wearing his Depends.
Honey, if he shows up and Depends, we're leaving him behind.
Girl,
Obviously,
you know,
yeah.
I look fucking impeccable when I go to the Fox. I got my bow tie, I got my suspenders. Like, I am here to slay.
Robert looks stunning in Depends as well. So it's really, yeah.
Fuck you.
I have a question that's like a very novice theater question, but what is the kosher approach to drinking during a show? Like, do they consistently like shut things down? Like, oh, like you have your opening time, you buy 2 drinks or whatever you can, then the bars close and then you sit through it. And
then intermission, they open back up,
Okay,
you get
okay.
your drinks and you could come
Because
back.
if it's like a stand-up show at the Fox, for example, like one thing I've learned just because I've gone to so many stand-up shows and I love them is like they keep that shit open.
Stand-up and concerts are different.
Right. I didn't know if it was different.
I mean, in theory, you could grab a drink at any time generally, but I think a lot of people will grab their pre-show drink and then an intermission drink. But if the spirit moves you and you're halfway through Act 1 and you really need your overpriced red wine,
you're right.
let the spirit move you.
Well,
Let the spirit move you.
Just be like John and bring a flask with you inside. And
honestly, well, I can't.
Can he confirm or not that's
as someone who works for a venue, I cannot condone that. But I did go on.
Edit this out.
I did go on a really incredible date where someone snuck in like Girl Scout cookies, and was like, "How dare you?" And now we're married. I am not married to him, but I was like so impressed that this dude's.
What's happening?
This guy snuck in Girl Scout cookies, and I was like, I don't know where you are from, but like, well played, well played.
Important question. What kind were they? Because I guess all the listeners want to know.
Yeah, no, the people are begging. My God. Oh my gosh, the comments are rolling in. What? No.
Let's vote.
Wow.
Which one?
Well, I didn't know if you guys knew that they're what do you call it? Morse coding. They're Morse coding in their opinions.
I'm getting a telepathic. Hold on.
I mean, okay, so I'm just wondering. Wait,
wow.
I'm gonna say tag alongs. If they're fucking Thin Mints, I'm tearing this building down.
Was it Samoas?
I'd like to thank the 4,500 live listeners for their guesses and their comments, but we're gonna have to tear the place down because it was Thin Mints. We did have Thin Mints.
You have no idea how upset I am on the inside. I'm so upset.
I ate Thin Mints while watching
Ew,
musical,
I don't really like Thin Mints.
I fucking hate Thin Mints, but
yeah,
also like what one little party saver. Like I get the
Thin Mints.
I mean, it's not that I hate Thin Mints. I just think they're blown out of proportion. Like Samoas are where it's at.
No. Here's the thing. Have y'all ever had your teeth cleaned, for example? Whenever
No, never.
Then I'm worried. So this is why I bring this up.
It's going strong. No dentist Samoa.
Well, we could talk about something very similar to that, but we're not going to. It has nothing to do with me. Anyway.
TipTea does dental hygiene.
Dental update, as one of my favorite podcasts calls it. Okay, so have you ever had when they do the polish, the mint?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from when I was a kid, when I first had that done, I've never been able to shake the association between toothpaste, like medicine or anything like that, to chocolate and mint. So I'm not judging you because whatever, your psyche is not as fucked as mine maybe, but that is why I don't understand when people are like chocolate and mint, because I'm like, but you brushed your teeth. I'm like, this is not a treat.
John loves the dentist, so
And my psyche's just fucked, but I applaud
love
that
a thin
video
man.
because I think it's very cute. I think that's a very cute way to, spice it
I
up.
feel like I have a weird psyche association. Like Thin Mints, when I eat Thin Mints, I think of Michael Jordan in Space Jam because I think that was maybe I remember distinct. Okay, the explanation is because I was eating Thin Mints, literally an entire box of Thin Mints because that's what I did as a child, and I was watching Space Jam, and Michael Jordan came on and he was shirtless, and I go, well, I'm gay. And
that was your coming out story.
It was like one of those, have you ever seen those gum commercials for Eclipse? It's like, and it's like a cold breath of fresh air. Like that's probably what it felt like, huh? Seeing Michael Jordan.
He was my cold breath of fresh air. And literally, I was like sitting there eating cookies and I go, life is beautiful.
Oh, I'm gay.
Oh my God. Yeah. That really did it for me.
The beginning
I can picture it. The beginning and the end. And that's Space Jam turned me gay. So I'm here to boycott. My last argument on your show is to boycott Space Jam.
Next part is Space Jam turned me gay. Calling it. No one can call it now.
Thank you so much.
PowerPoint argument. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us tonight.
I've had a wonderful time with you. I was having a mental breakdown right before this. I don't know if you could tell. I hope not.
We couldn't tell. No.
But as Robert and I like to always acknowledge that life is not always peaches and keen, and that's what life is about acknowledging shit like that. So, but I had a very lovely time, and I forgot about my troubles, and I really appreciate both of you. And thank you so much for coming on our show.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you for having me. This was really so much fun. This was incredible. So I'm really appreciative.
We'll have you back on
when we
talk about controversial topics.
Cannibalism and cat boiling. My God.
And Space Jam.
Space Jam homosexuality.
We love it.
The very common topic of Space Jam homosexuality.
We love it. I love it all.
I would like to start a poll. Sorry to interrupt. I would like to start a poll.
Go ahead.
To just inquire about how many people felt an inkling of, sexual questionability after seeing Space Jam. I would like to know.
I want to do a poll of how many times people got rock hard during listening to this segment.
Oh my God, Robert, rock hard?
Rock hard. About Armie Hammer, like when I was reading those messages, like how many people got turned on.
If you were turned on, reach out to Robert, and then he will charge you for the rest of him.
And then send us a pic.
And then also, but also send us your location and your contact information and where the FBI can reach you, because probably best.
Layla, I think that I have always ended the show, but I'm feeling very generous today, and I kind of want you to end the show today.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to another episode of TipTea Podcast. I don't know, what am I supposed to say?
No, just whatever. We don't have to do our normal spiel. Just end it however you want.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. And hey, if you're not okay, that's okay to not be okay. And thanks for listening. And we look forward to having you on another episode. Adios.
Bye.